Going live, going live, going live, going live. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Griever back here, bringing you guys Shuumatsu no Valkyrie Chapter 45 reaction with me, your host, Griever, as always. Now, we are a little earlier from the scheduled start time. The scheduled start time was 8:50. I just needed to give myself a small window of time to clear up a couple of things. Got done a little early, that's all. But yeah, we're here. The chapter only dropped a couple hours ago, so I'm certainly not late to the party. And yeah, this should be a pretty fun stream. I have no idea what's going to go down. What are we going to see at a 0? Is he actually going to be able to even hurt Buddha? You know, is Buddha just going to? Is this going to be the first real one-sided fight that we've seen? Because I would argue the only real one-sided fight that we've seen, something that could be considered a one-sided fight, would be Thor versus Lu Bu. Thor clearly had an upper hand during that entire fight, and it seemed like even though he had to try, it didn't seem like he had to go all out to the level that Zeus did or somebody like that. So yeah, so far that's been the only one was the first round. So it'd be interesting to see here in round 6 if there's just no question Buddha's top tier. That's gonna be the interesting part. In the chat we have Dragon's Rage saying yo Dragon. We got Vib in here saying 30-minute countdown. Damn, yeah, it was only 20 minutes, whatever. And I explained all that and stuff. Caden's in here, says hello Caden, what's up? Once again, we're gonna do our, since it was 8:50 anyways, we won't be starting the chapter read through till 8:50, but that still gives us our 5 to 10 minute runoff time, as it always does. So we do that for every stream, so it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. So I'm curious if this is going to be, because the entire idea from the 7 Lucky Gods, from what we heard, is that they believe that this 0 fusion is enough to, like, just no debate. They should know how powerful Buddha is. They should know how powerful all the gods are, being ones themselves. And I wouldn't say that they would underestimate anybody, but, you know, I don't know. I just don't have... I'm curious to know what... Because 0 not only has apparently the power of the 7 Lucky Gods, which I imagine might be sort of like the Luck fruit or something like that from One Piece, but also each of his little balls on the end of his hair or whatever was one of the 7 deadly sins. Now, there's a lot of interpretations of the 7 deadly sins in manga and anime especially, and the way that they view them, the way they can view them as power or as more seductress or more of an innate ability, or so. It's gonna be interesting. As I said, this might be the first one-sided fight that we've had since the first round. And even that one wasn't exactly one-sided. But yeah, I'm curious. I am curious to find out. Tenryo's in here and says, chapter was really interesting. I think you'll have a lot to talk about. Okay, well, I'm glad I started as early as I did. It is a school night, ladies and gentlemen. It is a work night. So, yeah, that's good. I don't mind doing a 2-hour stream or what have you, but, you know, if there's a lot to talk about, we're going to have to get started here soon. Chubb's in here and says, interested to see your reaction to this one. Okay, so we got, you know, 2 people already going. This is an interesting chapter. They're not saying the chapter is like, this is amazing, this is fire. They're saying there's some interesting stuff to talk about. So now that leads me to believe either the power is going to be super unique on Zero's side, or maybe even the way they handle Buddha, or we might get more into Brunhild's true motivation. Like, one of her motivations is, I believe, legitimate, like we discussed last stream in chapter 44. She is legitimately, like Adam, like Heracles, fighting for humanity. I don't think that's in question, but she has an ulterior motive, and Buddha seems to know what it is. So I'd be curious to find out exactly what that is. Yeah, so we only have to wait another 3 minutes, guys. I just don't want to, like, we started the stream a little early and stuff, and, you know, a lot of times I find when people see the, you know, timestamp, that's why I don't usually leave a huge timestamp. Like, I'm not like, all right, stream in 2 hours, you know, and I walk away. I like to start them almost right away, because I feel like some people come in there and they're like, oh, it's in like 30 minutes, and then they're like, okay, yeah, it's been roughly, oh, it's been 45, and then they jump back in sort of idea. It's easier to just have a small window, like, hey, wait 10 minutes and I'll start streaming. So I don't like to leave huge long timestamps like that. And I've never done a premiere, so I don't really know how the viewership is affected with those. But yeah, probably quite a few people when it was first dropped saw the timestamp 850. So gonna leave it at 850. Not gonna start it quite yet. Yeah, what else is there? So yeah, Buddha might be one-siding this fight, or Zero is gonna pull it, because they seem to think like Zero had this. You know, Ibisu there seemed to think that, or Ebisu seemed to think that the Zero thing was like a one and done, like a one-hit KO move. And from what we see, it's the fusion that we all assumed it was. So, called Zero. So, you know, I am curious to see what made him so confident that Zero was going to be, doesn't matter if it's Buddha. Does not matter. We are the judgment, we're the jailer, we're the judge, jury, executioner, and we have a one-shot deal to pull this off. Once every 1,000 years, they're allowed to lay down the law that is undisputed in the book of the gods, or I don't know, I have no idea. But Buddha doesn't seem to be worried, so maybe it's a little known secret. You know, maybe only they know it, maybe only Zeus and Odin know it. It's hard to say. It really is. And look at that countdown. We're only a minute away. I wonder how long this chapter is. I don't find page number really to be a spoiler necessarily. I guess if you knew it like before the Raws or something like that, but I still don't see it as too much, because I don't usually pay too much attention unless I'm taking a break. I don't pay too much attention to page number while I'm reading. I just start reading. I'm like, okay, we reached about 20 pages in. All right, let's take a short break, you know, blah, blah, blah. Then we'll get back to it, right? So, yeah. Yeah, I think I covered everything. Wow. For once, I don't really have a whole lot to say before we start the chapter. I already spoke about Zero, and like there's so many different avenues they could take for Zero, or Zero just might be a bitch. And then we have Buddha, of course, being an amazing. And then we have, maybe we'll get more on the Brunhild backstory. Maybe we'll see one of the new gods. Maybe we'll see, you know, Anubis or Beelzebub or somebody else. We'll finally get introduced to a couple more people. Who knows? Would be interesting there. Miss Content is in here and said, what's up, Griever? What's up, Misk? Yeah, okay, I guess we can get started. We're at 8-minute runoff time. We got, you know, half a dozen people in here. Let's just start and people can join us later. So, oh, it's 71 pages. Wow. Okay. 71 pages. Alrighty then. And it's entitled Chapter 45, Zero's Grief. And he's doing something really... Yep, this is my ultimate Kamehameha attack. Yep. This is my... Yeah, I think I'm dislocating something. Ow, that did hurt to pull off. Yeah, don't do that. Okay. No, he's just stretching and... Oh, that's why you're not supposed to try to do that. Then he does... Okay, so Zero seems to just be stretching. It's going to be, haven't been in this form for a few thousand years. Long before you even got here, Buddha. I haven't taken this form since then. Let's see. Alright, so he's stretching out. You know, it probably hasn't fused in a long time. Let's see. Next page, he says, twisting and turning. Seems to be doing that. But don't you think there's something a little bit off? And he twists his head in a... Man, that's gross. Looking. He's twisting his head like he snapped his own neck. Like he twisted it way further than it should be twisted. But then again, we saw Zeus' head literally spin and face the other direction. So, not out of the realm of the gods yet. Not something we haven't seen before. But it is creepy that he's doing it to himself. Like with no... Seems to be like he's sort of showing off, like trying to... We're still getting that horror vibe from the last chapter, and he's trying to figure it out. Buddha's staring intently at him, not saying anything. Next page, you're not even paying attention. Just like always, you human meatbag. Okay, once again, because he is... I'm curious, once again, the fact that, like, this must be the reason they changed Heracles' backstory so completely, so originally, because they wanted Buddha to be unique in the way that he achieved divinity. They didn't want sort of them both classified as, yeah, you obtained godhood through, you had the blood of God, you obtained it through this way. You know, they didn't want the comparison, so they tried to separate it as much as possible. Or, in a way, almost make it more similar. Like they were both born humans, both attained godhood through different methods. Because I don't think Buddha's going to have the handicaps and the detrimental parts to his power like Heracles did. So it is interesting that they decided to change Heracles' backstory to make him more similar to the whole Buddha was a born human, obtained divinity sort of idea through X and got godhood, instead of keeping him demigod to try to keep the two separate. That's interesting. That's actually interesting. At first I thought they were, like, they changed it to be different, but they actually changed it to be similar. So this is going to be interesting because he just called him a human meatbag. And because Buddha was once human. All right, okay. And now he's twisting himself up even more. Ugh. As I said, getting that horror vibe, getting that whole Legion sort of idea, you know, your baby's gonna burn, you know, that kind of creepy shit. Getting some of those horror movie-esque things with the lanky arm dudes and stuff. Quotes, let's see. I'm going to turn you... These are all in quotations. As he's stretching... Oh my god, it's gross how he's stretching. It's so... There's like a... Like his spine is actually growing a horn from his back. Man, it's gross. Man, this dude is creepy. I'm going to turn you into mincemeat. Burn you to a crisp. Dice you. Execute you. So is he having... Is it all the 7 lucky gods deciding how they want to take on Buddha or something? Because he seems to be like, oh, am I going to turn you into mincemeat? Burn you to a crisp. Dice you. Execute you. Murder you. And they're all in quotations. And he just... Yuck. He grew some type of, like, axe. Oh, it's an axe. Yeah, it is. It's a giant... It looks like the... What's that called? Like the Axe of Devastation or the Axe of Despair from Yu-Gi-Oh! It literally looks like that. What is that? What is that damn axe called? That axe card. Axe of Despair? I gotta look that up. Yu-Gi-Oh! Card. Because it literally looks like it with all the... Yeah, the Axe of Despair. It's literally the Axe of Despair. You guys go look that up. That is the exact same thing. It's an axe blade, and then it's got all the creepy tendrils, like it's alive, and like veins and shit as the handle and everything. Like, it's literally that axe, and it's absolutely grotesque. It looks badass, but okay, Zero's taking no prisoners. Zero's like, all right, I just watched 3 seasons of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's time to duel. You know, so he's ready. He said, screw a dual disc. I'm pulling out magic cards physically into the real world. Let's do this. So I'm like, okay. So Zero is an advocate for playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I like him a lot better now. True fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay. So he says, yep. He pulls this thing out of his back. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting looking. It's soaked in his own blood. Pulls it out, says, murder's got a nice ring to it. Okay, so he pulled this out. And then, let's see. Okay, we're jumping to Ares and Hermes. There was a god that sinister here in Valhalla? Hermes says, so that's the Zero Fuku I have heard rumors of. Even Hermes hasn't seen it? Zero, out of disaster, can come blessings. It seems round 6 is quite the fateful matchup. Because they're like opposing forces sort of idea. Okay, let's see. So he's literally shaking, and his eyes are turning blood red, and he's just like the veins in his eyes and his face, and he's just like trembling and ha ha ha, and he's just completely, this guy just screams crazy, says Heimdall. He's just like completely freaked out, standing still beside Buddha. Like, get the hell out of there, Heimdall. You're not Idris Elba, Heimdall, so you better peace. And he's just oozing all this black aura. It actually looks really cool. That axe is literally bigger than his body, so that's impressive. And he seems to be just like unable to control himself, like just trembling, like murder, murder, murder sounds like a good idea. Yeah, murder, yeah. Okay, so dude's a little unhinged. So ring, ring, ring goes Heimdall's phone. That scared me from the higher ups, huh? Ragnarok round 6. Buddha versus Bishamonten. Bing! Zero Fuku. Get out of here. Both contestants are completely out of left field. So he rips out. He's got a bunch of. So he's just got a hole. It's like, it's like, this is where I keep all my horns. It's like, where do you keep all those? And now he's pulling out a brand new horn. If anything goes wrong, it's not my problem. With that out of the way, once again, on humanity's side this time is the Buddha! It's Buddha. Buddha, bitch. Mankind's representative for round 6 is the Buddha. Let's do it. Okay, so looking impressive as always. Then in Heimdall, on the other side, we have, and on the God's side, we have Bishamonten, nay, the second alright, fuck that up. The 7 lucky gods, nay, I say, introducing the new and improved and downright horror villain-esque Zero Fuku! Alright, so Zero Fuku versus the Buddha, the god's representative for round 6. Zero Fuku. Alright. And next page, next panel, fight! Finish him. Alright, one shot. I just want Buddha him to swing, Buddha just be like, oh, cute. Bam! Facepalm. Like, seriously, I'm gonna be curious. Let's see. So we get fight. It's finally starting. It's just the crowd. How's this going to turn out? Oh, there's a goal there. 0. So that's what it was. It'll be the death penalty with 0. I mean, what's the deal with Zero Fuku? So yeah, there we're getting that shot again where Ibisu basically talked about the death penalty with 0. As though it's like judge, jury, executioner sort of idea. It's like 0 can't be blocked, can't be stopped, can't be defied. You know, that was the sort of attitude I got from that. It's like, it doesn't matter if he's Buddha or not. The 0 thing, we didn't know it was a fusion at the time, but 0 is the death penalty. Maybe he's just super confident that Zero Fuku's stronger? I'm not sure, but let's see. Goal says, like any number of gods combining sounds way too insane. That's true too, but each of the 7 lucky gods, other than Bishamonten himself, each of those gods seem to be pretty minor gods in their own right. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have stacked any of them. Like, forget Bishamonten for a second. I wouldn't have stacked any of them anywhere close. Thor, Zeus, Odin, Shiva. I wouldn't have done any of that, right? So, even though combining 7 gods, it's more like, okay, Bishamonten combined with 6 minor gods. Like, that's how it more feels like. But, let's see. Any number of gods combining sounds way too insane. No, the 7 lucky gods were only a temporary form. Brunhild coming in with the facts. That's what Jack's eyes saw. We all assumed that. Honestly, I expected there to be something a little more to this. Like, they could have had both things. They could have had 0 be an ability of the fusion. Like, we all sort of assumed from Jack's eye the fusion. Then he talks about 0. Like, it all ended up being the same thing. It sort of fell perfectly into place. Like, there was no plot twist with that. There really was. The plot twist for this round has been Buddha switching sides. That was the big plot twist. But, seriously, there was no need for anybody to come up with elaborate theories. Like, my whole thing is what the 7 lucky gods, as you guys remember, I believed that they were going to be first time for crowd interference. Because we can't keep up all the rounds being all the same, right? They fight, this is what happens, it'll start to feel a little too mundane. So they got to mix it up. My new thing to mix up for round 6 was crowd interference, where the gods are pissed off. Loki's pissed off. Maybe they use this Zero ability to weaken Buddha or something like that. Or they attack Buddha when he switched sides. He's not the one who fights, and they use this Zero ability in the crowd to sort of mess with the fight or whatever. Crowd interference might be the next round, I guess. But yeah, so that fell into place really good. But it seems like it almost seems so obvious that we all assumed that there was more to the story. But at the end of the day, it was all just fusion Zerofuku. So, okay. That's not really that disappointing, though. I think it's just that we all assumed with all the different things going on, and we weren't 100% sure, and we saw separate scenes, sort of indicating, there's more to this, there's more to this, there's more to this. We thought there'd be multiple things, I guess. No big deal. I mean, Zerofuku has a very interesting design, to say the least. So, the 7 lucky gods were only a temporary form, as Brunhilde explains. This is my first time seeing it as well, but she doesn't seem shocked, so she knew about it. However, Zerofuku is indeed their original form. So Bishamonten and the gods never existed. It was just a splitting up of their personalities or something. Sort of like, is this going to be like the whole, because 7 Deadly Sins has been done before, as you guys know. Hell, there's Nanatsu no Taizai is an entire manga series, over 300 chapters. 7 Deadly Sins is not unique to manga and anime fiction. But I wonder if this is sort of going to be more the Full Metal Alchemist side of things. The Full Metal Alchemist too. I'm going to be curious if that's the case. That was the idea. Each one of them represented, because then he's got the 7 deadly sins on his side. Each one of the 7 lucky gods represented one of the sins. And then, it was sort of okay, you each represented one of these. You were all the 7 lucky gods, but you also represented one of the sins as well. 2 halves, same coin of each sort of individual. And it was just, for whatever reason, they split into the 7 temporary forms for some reason. I'm going to be curious if it's going to follow that train of thought. But let's see. Goal goes on to say that their original form, that looks more demonic than any god I've ever seen. Well, I wonder how Beelzebub is going to look. In the beginning, Zerofuku was a kind god. Oh, I did not see that coming. In the beginning, Zerofuku was a kind god who dispensed fortune wherever he went. Dispensed fortune. So, dispersed here. Fortune for you, and fortune for you, and fortune for everybody. You win the lottery, and you win a lottery, and you, well, not you, but you win a lottery. Everybody wins a lottery. Just, Zerofuku was basically the Oprah Winfrey before Oprah Winfrey, right? He was just there you get a school, and you get a school, and you get a school. Everybody's getting schools! So let's see. He's swinging his axe. All right, that does look kind of cool that he's just playing with that thing I would play with a pen, just yeah, and he's just swinging it like it's no big deal. However, grief changed him. Okay, now he's looking, that axe is looking even more demonic. It's looking more solidified. It's got skulls up the side. That is one badass designed axe. I know it's sort of, as I said, it's been done before and stuff, even the Yu-Gi-Oh card sort of idea, but I gotta admit that now I'm getting some sort of Darksiders vibe from it, Chaos Eater and shit. That's a cool design for that axe. That is pretty cool. Grief changed him. Well, the chapter title is Zero's Grief, so it's going to be curious as to how humanity is disgusting. All I did was ever give them fortune, and they betrayed me, and I saw that they took my fortune and caused war between each other. Is that going to be the backstory? It's I gave fortune to everybody. Everybody should have been content and happy, but then they all were greedy and craved more. Hence the sins. Pride, greed, lust. They, no matter how much fortune I gave humanity, they kept desiring more, and they fought amongst themselves for their arrogance and their pride and all this. Is that going to be the case? I can see that too. There's another avenue for the 7 deadly sins sort of idea to take place. Why would a fortuitous, a kind god, a fortune god, turn evil? Okay, all right. And then he split because he was so evil and he couldn't stay in Valhalla? I don't know. Grief changed him. Divine punishment, he says. Okay, so we're going to get the backstory. Very classic record of Ragnarok. Before we even start the fight, we usually get a couple of blows and then we jump over, but let's see. Ancient Asia, when God and man still had a close relationship. Okay, before we start page 14, I'm just going to quickly check the chat, see what everybody's saying, what everybody's doing, and then we'll jump back to the chapter. Dragon Trade said, what would you say Zero's chances of beating Buddha are? I know you were going for the pun here. I know where everybody's going to go for the pun. But I'm going to say... less than 50%. I got a strong feeling Buddha's going to win. I'll give him a benefit of the doubt and say he's got a 25% chance of winning this fight. From what we understand so far. 25%. Like, I'm going to give Buddha the high roll and say 75% chance Buddha's winning. It's pretty confident. Even 80%. Let's see, missed content. Probably Zero, no pun intended. Of course not. Chubb said, yeah, Zero is probably the most disgusting, creepiest character. Absolutely. Dragon's Rage said, I knew somebody would make that pun miss. Of course. Dragon's Rage said, I would say called it, but everybody did. So, Caden said, sad, so sad, anticlimactic. You know, they meant that he took away misfortune. Oh, well, he gave fortune or he took it away. Either way, you either give someone fortune who has misfortune or you take away their misfortune and now they're no longer misfortunate. Sort of different ways of saying the same thing from what Caden was just saying. But I haven't read the backstory yet, so I don't know yet. They said that he basically, you know, gave fortune, like made people fortunate. So you either take away their misfortune and now they're fortunate because they don't have misfortune, or you make them fortunate and they weren't misfortunate to begin with. Either way, you're going to end up with the same sort of idea, I would say. But let's, all right, the chat wasn't too crazy this time, so we can just jump right back. Ancient Asia, when God and man, this is the top of page 14 for those following along. Ancient Asia, when God and man still held a close relationship. In order to watch over the people, some gods dwelt among the world of the humans. Okay, we're seeing temple. Ah, it's wonderful outside. So is this going to be Zero as a kid? Jesus, this lighthearted little brat kid. All right, I'm going to make everybody as happy as can. Yeah. I think I've already called this backstory, but that doesn't mean it's bad, guys. I've read a lot of shit in my day. But let's see. All right, it's still to this day. Quick tangent. Still to this day, pisses my wife off. I always said I would wait to watch Notebook. I'm big into romance, guys. I'm a pussy like that. I love a good romance story. Romance stories I almost love better than almost every other genre when it's handled correctly. And as long as there's a few other things going on and it's not like soul romance, as long as there's like drama and friendship and maybe some battle, maybe some whatever going on in the background, maybe some other stuff. If a good romance story is a goddamn good romance story, then I'm hooked. I'm hooked on that, right? But I always said I would wait to watch The Notebook because everybody said, oh my God, it's one of the greatest romance stories of all time. And I was just like, okay, I've seen a lot of it, and of course, it's a chick movie. All the chicks dig it, right? So when The Notebook came out, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to wait to watch it with a girl. I don't know why I decided that, but it was a big, like, female movie. All the females like, oh my God, it was this great movie. It's one of the greatest love stories ever. And I was just like, okay, but I heard it was pretty long. So I was like, you know what? I'll wait until, you know, I'm on a date or I get a girlfriend or whatever. At the time, I didn't have a girlfriend. When The Notebook came out, I forget when it came out. And I just said, I'm going to wait. So eventually, years go by, I sort of forget about that movie. You know, I have other things to do, other things to watch. And then finally, before my wife was my wife, I don't know if she was my girlfriend, fiance, whatever, doesn't matter. But my current wife, as though I'm going to have another one. Yeah, right. I told her, like, she said, I love The Notebook. We should watch The Notebook. And I was like, oh, and then that age-old idea of mine, like, I was going to hold off watching The Notebook until I could watch it with a lovely lady companion. I was just like, oh, perfect. You know, I sort of always wanted to see it. And then had her sit down. I watched, not even finish the opening credits. And this is not me like cheating and I read a synopsis of it one day or saw it on a spoiler YouTube video or something. I looked at it, I saw the old man, he picked up the book, he's reading to the lady, and automatically I called and I won't spoil it here just in case, because if you guys haven't seen it, it is a pretty good story, but I called the entire plot and the ending. Hadn't even gotten to Rachel McAdams or Ryan Gosling yet. First scene, called the entire 2-hour movie. She was livid at me. She was so pissed off. She's like, how could you must have seen this before. And I said, no, I've just read, and I told her, I said, have you seen my bookshelf? I have read books upon books upon books. I've read a lot of true stories, read a lot of fiction, not just manga and anime, but between all the different medias, when you do comic books, manga, anime, video games, cartoons, live action, dramas, soap operas. Soap operas is a big one. If you're into romance and you grew up, watching soap operas with your mother or your grandmother like I did, holy shit, you get a lot of that. This is what it is. I got this. So, yeah, there's just, you're going to be able to call some stuff. So I'm never mad if I call it. I'm actually impressed because I should be able to, because I've experienced so many different forms of fiction and read so much in each genre that it is good. So that's my little tangent there, guys. Sorry about that. I did warn you it would be a tangent. I hope you went and got a drink, got some popcorn, and came back. But yeah, so ever since then, I've been able to call things sometimes. Though manga always tends to surprise me, which is a good thing. A lot of the times I don't get my theories right in manga, so that's good. But yeah, it will be interesting if I was right about Zero Fuku here, because he seems to be, he's young, he's happy-go-lucky. All right, another day of making everybody happy. It's like, all right. Zero Fuku. So he's walking down, chilling. Oh, there's some birdies. It fell from its nest. Oh, the bird fell from its nest. So he picks it up, puts it back. And then, whoa, what are you doing? Oh, and of course, mother hawk or mother bird. Or, it doesn't really look like a hawk. What type of bird is that? That's an odd looking bird. But anyways, bird comes down, starts pecking at him, attacking him. Caw. Could be, it's not dark enough to be a crow or a raven, but anyways. So caw, yeah, of course it's going to attack to protect his babies, even though he was trying to help. He doesn't know that. So, yeah. Sort of got a weird seagull looking look to him. Anyways, so they're all happy and stuff. Ouch, so it's their mother. What a relief. I hope you're happy. Okay, Zero Fuku doing what he does best. Long ago, Zero Fuku was kinder than any other god. And the sight which greeted him when he came down to this world, and he looks on, and he's seeing all the poverty of ancient China. Look at, oh my God, this looks like, yeah, yep. It's in a lot of places in the world, and it's quite sad. And we're seeing a combination of so many things here. We're seeing, the starving child crying over the dead parent. We're seeing them all skinny and scrawny and malnutritioned. We're seeing them fighting in the streets, stealing from each other, praying for something to happen. Depression. We're seeing all sides. This is actually a really well done image because it's showcasing not just one thing happening in one village. It's showcasing a lot of all that stuff. Sort of reminding me of one of those donate $1 today for the children in Africa sort of commercial. It's seriously, that's what this is looking like to me. It's a yeesh. God damn. So yeah, I knew they were going to come across this. I did say that Zero Fuku was going to see the underbelly of humanity at this point. I didn't know it was going to be necessarily this harsh, but it makes sense. Yeah, this is pretty bad. Yeah, this is showcasing the dark side. So he came down. He's absolutely shocked. Birth. Okay, let's see. Birth, sickness, old age, death. From one's parting. Okay, am I reading this wrong? From parting with meeting five that. Okay, I'm reading this totally wrong. Okay. Birth to sickness, old age, and death. From one's from parting loved ones with meeting hated ones. Or from parting one's loved with meeting one's hated. Not really sure. That's a weird way to say it. I know it's supposed to sound fancy, but okay, I'm getting the gist here. He's just going through all the motions. Just like old age and death, birth and sickness, loved ones dying, hated ones met, failing to obtain what others seek, the five skandhas. The five skandhas. Okay. Was people in the depths of unimaginable sorrow, struggling under the burden of the 8 pains. So the 8 pains are birth, sickness, old age, death, losing loved ones, meeting hating ones, failing to seek, failing to obtain anything, and the 5 skandhas. I don't know what the 5... I gotta look up that word. I gotta find out what the hell they're talking about. Because, okay, these are the 8 things that people... Let's see. Skandhas. I don't know enough about Buddhism, guys. Skandhas. I'm probably saying that word totally wrong, and I apologize. In Buddhism, it refers to the 5 aggregates of clinging. The 5 material and mental factors that take place in craving and clinging. Okay, so the idea of like holding on to something, like the craving and clinging of material possessions, I guess, a little bit. Suffering arises when one identifies or clings to something. Yeah, too aggressively. Okay, so we're having... All right, and so these are the eight pains, I guess, of life. The burden of the 8 pains. And humanity can't deal with them. I mean, okay. I mean, I agree with each one of these. I mean, I haven't really been... I mean, I'm old, but I'm not old age yet. I haven't been through death, but I've been through sickness. Not terrible sickness, but sickness. I've been through birth, I guess. Parting with loved ones. Meeting hated ones. Yep. Failing to obtain what one seeks. Yep, been there. And clinging to something when it becomes obsessive and stuff like that. Like, you could look at that a few ways, I guess. But okay, so these are the 8 pains. And humanity can't survive it, and he's seeing it. Of course he didn't exactly go to the rich capital in ancient China or something. He didn't go to somewhere where humans were prospering somewhat, No, he went into literally the heart of one of the worst areas, and now we're seeing, the 8 pains are too much for humanity. And Zerofuku just breaks down and cries. He's just weeping. What do I do? What can I do as a god to make these people... He's just absolutely distraught at their suffering. Oh yeah, if humans are living unhappy lives, then they ought to become happy if I cut off the unhappiness at its source. So, let's see. So, he's going to cure the sick. He's going to revive the dead. He's going to, I don't know, replace hate with love. I don't know. Is he going to, opposite everything, or is he going to try and fuck everything up? Like we saw, he didn't really screw up with the bird. He didn't crush the bird by accident or kill the mother because he's like, hey, I'm trying to help you, whack. Sort of like Big Mom with the whole tiger, or what was it, the wolf and the bear in the cage together, and then or whatever, something like that. He doesn't understand. It could go that way. Let's see. So cough, cough, it hurts. Okay, we see a young boy suffering. My chest hurts. Who are you? Apparently the mother or something. He jumps down. You said your chest hurts, right? So he's doing alright, what's he gonna do? Wait, what are you? So he puts his hand there. Beam. Irk. Don't worry. I'll take on your misfortune for you. Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't really call that part. I did say that he was going to be transformed by the greediness of humans. But this one act, they're all going to ask him to do it. He's going to do this one nice thing, try to save this one village, and everybody's going to come to him. They're going to claw their way to his temple and his home. Can you take away my misfortune? Take away my misfortune. Oh, please, God, take away, take away, take away. And they won't ever try to take away their own misfortune. And he's going to, because it has to go somewhere. He doesn't, that's something I didn't think of. Okay. Because misfortune has to go somewhere. He doesn't erase it. He takes it upon himself. He takes away the sins. Okay. All right. So he'll take on the 8 pains and it's going to twist him. All right, don't worry. I'll take on your misfortune for you. And, oh, that's really turning him black. Oh, damn. And everybody's seeing it and ugh. And it almost looks like he's bleeding and stuff and it hurt him. What did you do to my... It doesn't hurt. My chest doesn't hurt. And the boy's fine. Okay, so now the mom's happy as hell. I can run. My word. And everybody's seeing it. Everybody saw the blinding light. Everybody's shocked as hell. Zerofuku discovered he could help humans. It's a god. Thank you, God. It's a god. And yep, now they're all going to beg him. Hope you're happy, but he's not meant to take on that misfortune. By absorbing what made them unhappy, and so having made it his duty to do so, and we see that it's still affecting him, the veins in his arm are still, so he's going to slowly build up, and it's going to poison him from the inside out. Ooh, I like this. This is a pretty good story. This is a pretty good backstory. I like this. I did not think the Zerofuku, I did not expect this as a backstory. This is nothing like I would have thought the backstory would have been. So, let's see. Like, before I read the chapter and figured out, okay, Zerofuku was a kind god and I made up my theories and stuff, I just mean, like, at the end of chapter 44, I had no idea we were going to have this whole, he was once, like, a really nice god and he tried to help humanity. I never would have called that. That's a good way to take this. In order to give happiness to those struggling with misfortune, and we see, he keeps going, wherever he found misfortune, he absorbed it. And absorbed it, and absorbed it, over and over again. I hope you're all happy. And we see it really affecting him now. We're seeing the same shots of when he was there clutching the axe and stuff and getting himself all freaked out and stuff like murder. We're seeing the shot of his eyes, the shot of his mouth, the shot of his arm. And it's just veins everywhere. All the misfortune flowing through them. And thus, after many months and years, so he did this for years, and we saw it affected him with doing it for one child, and we're seeing the massive amount of people. Phew. Now, everybody's happy. Oh my God. Jesus, look at him. He's completely, and that hole in his chest isn't there yet. That's in his current Zerofuku form. And he's just completely contorted. He looks worse than the goddamn humans that were starving that he was helping. I mean, he's like internal bleeding all over his body. His chest is coated in veins of poison. And he's so weak. His feet are rotting. His arms are contorted. Oh my God. And page 28. Haha, it's been a while since I've been back here. Huff, huff. Okay, so he's just back in his house? Yeah, or back in his shrine where he came from. It's been a while since I've been back here. So he's there. The place is pretty fallen down and decrepit. I sure took in a lot to think humans had this much misfortune. And he's there, and even his eyes are fucked up. And he's okay, let's see how this is going to twist him. He looks like a demon. Rog. Oh, and now it's finally, he did it all. He did it with a smile on his face. And now it's like, oh my God, this is so fucking painful. And now he's clutching himself. He's crying out in pain. He didn't want to acknowledge it. And now that he's cured humanity, as far as he knows, he's cured. And then what's going to happen is there's going to be more misfortune, right? Because humans die and then they grow, and then we have more humans, we have babies, and then they're going to be misfortune and stuff. Oh my God, this is... Alright, so he's clutching himself, realizing how much pain he's in. He falls to the ground, clutching himself on the hardwood floor and just screaming out in pain. Even if he had to take in endless amounts of sorrow and woe. Even if it brought him pain and anguish. Oh, we're still seeing the light in his eyes. Zerofuku found happiness in bringing happiness to humans. And this is where it's all going to go downhill. It's going to go downhill. I wonder how that village is doing. Oh no. He's going to go back to that first village and find it even worse, isn't he? Wonder if they are all still happy. But Zerofuku didn't know. Of the true nature of man. Okay, let's see. He's completely shocked. Everybody's doing well, it seems. Oh, is he going to be bitter? Is he going to regret the fact that he helped all them and now they're living life of luxury and he's there suffering for them and they're not like trying to... Nobody's coming to help him, you know, and try to ease his wounds or help his sorrow. And everybody's just loving life. Okay, I didn't see that coming. I thought it was just going to be back even worse. You know, or the same. Like nothing he did mattered and changed. And he took on this pain for nothing. But now we're seeing, ooh. Yeah, we're seeing the greed, the lust. Okay, I'm seeing it. The sloth, the gluttony, the greed, the lust, the pride. All right, here we go. The more of their misfortunes he took in, the more they lost sight of happiness. I mean, I'd say they're pretty happy. They're just sinful. It can't be. And fell into depravity without fail. Move it. He pushes Zerofuku to the ground. Some guy pushing Zerofuku to the ground. And Zerofuku, of course, even though he's a god in so much pain. Yeah, okay, so he's seeing it a bit of a different way. I mean, it's not that they're unhappy. It's just that now they're sinful. Their happiness, they're too fortunate. You know, there's no humility. There's no groundedness in these people anymore where they don't have any misfortune. So the more they lost sight of what you know, simple happiness was. It's sort of like where you're born and stuff. Like you can take someone from a third world country and you can give them a proper place to sleep and eat, and they will be happier than the guy who won than a guy who already has all that. Like me. Like I've got a house. Like, yeah, I grumble about taxes and the government and the price of food and stuff, but I still have a roof over my head. I have running clean water to drink from. I have food in the fridge. You know, I have to work for it, but I have it all. And it's not, I mean, we grumble and gripe like, how can, you know, pay for college loans and stuff, and meanwhile it's all relative. It's all based on your perspective, where you're born, where you're raised, and what your living situation is to give you perspective on what would make you happy. You know, this would be winning the fucking lottery to someone in a third world country, having my life just like that. And to me, I'm like, well, I worked hard to get here. I'm entitled to what I've worked for. But that's not the way. That's because I was born and raised, thankfully, in Canada, in a first world country where that's a very easy, viable option for people. You know, getting a job, going to work, you know. It's not. So, yeah. This brings perspective, for sure. Let's see. So let's see what happens after he gets knocked over. Oh no. He looks at it. Oh no. It's the first kid he helped. He's looking on. I can run. It's the little kid, the first one he helped. You're from back then. You've gotten so big. Even now he's cheery. What's he talking about? Gross. Do you know him? You're filthy, man. Who the hell are you? You'd think, oh my god, like, you'd think he'd remember. You'd think, like, the kid would remember who he was. You know? Even if he went, oh god, yeah, you helped me one time, but you're filthy, you're gross. He doesn't even remember. I would think that dude that was dying would always remember as a child, you know? Like, gross, let's get away from him. Yeah, if we get mixed up with him, we'll get bad luck. Don't dirty up this village with that body of yours. Get lost, dude. And he spits on him. The girls say, haha, you're so cool. So basically what I just said about your perspective and stuff, there's also the very evil nature that we're seeing right now of humanity, where, yeah, you'd like to think that all you need to do is give, like, you go to a third world country and, you give everybody, a little bit of money, a little bit of food, a little bit of shelter, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you try to help them, you try to turn their country around. There is still the possibility they turn out like this. Like, just because you have a 9-year-old that suffered in a third world country does not mean that the moment you bring him over to the States or wherever and you raise him and stuff, that he won't forget that he won't forget to be just very humble and happy and grateful for being pulled out of that situation by happenstance, by luck, by fortune, by the gods, by whoever. They still might forget themselves and become arrogant, prideful little shits like this. So there is always that possibility. You don't need, necessarily, just because you're born in a terrible situation doesn't mean you still won't be an asshole. It doesn't, it's not a requirement, So, and now we're seeing the evils of humanity. Oh my God, like, we are really starting to see some of the evils of humanity in this manga. Like, they are not pulling their punches in Valkyrie when they show the evils of humanity. This is disgusting. So I gotta check the chat first, because this is just disgusting. This is, yeah. Okay, let's see what people says. Let's see what people said. Dragon's Rage says, "Hey Griever, you have 0 dislikes. Zero Fuku shines upon you." Zero Fuku shines upon me. Dragon's Rage said, "I'm more of an action and mystery guy." Fair enough. Everybody has their genres they like. I like battle, and I like action, adventure. So I like adventure more than action. Usually adventure is coupled with action, so you usually get both. But I like action, adventure. I like romance, Dragon's Rage also said, "I would pay to see a video recording of that. It sounds funny as hell to watch." Yeah. Well, I mean, of course it wasn't recorded, but I mean, yeah, it was pretty funny. Miss Condon said, "I like a little romance to add some extra layers to the characters." I agree. Like, I've said this before, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. Romance enhances a story. It never seems to take away from it. Romance only adds layers. It's not always necessary to a story. It can take a back seat for a lot of time in the chapters in the story. But it can't be a bad thing if it's written well. Even if it's written 5 out of 10. Even if it's written averagely. It still adds another level of depth to the characters. It's always good. Caden says, "Never seen a romance movie." You've never seen, like, the Titanic. You've never seen a romance movie. Holy shit. You've never seen Jerry Maguire? You never saw Casablanca? Oh, my God. Vibhab said, "Griever, suffering from success." Always suffering from my amount of success, even though I'm still on COVID pay and I can barely afford my bills. But I'm still, relatively to my position, I would consider it successful. I'm not destitute. I can still, as I said, I can still afford a case of beer on the weekend. That is arguably proves that I'm not destitute. That proves I'm definitely not in poverty. So, I mean, how could you call it not successful, right? So, hard to say. Chubb says, "Yeah, I didn't really expect him to have such a sympathetic backstory." No, not at all. He really does have the creepiest design. He's got the creepiest design both in his young form and in his new form. And, like, when he's all contorted and stuff. And, yeah, I did not expect the sympathy backstory. I expected something like him just... I don't know what I expect. I didn't expect this depth. I really didn't. I don't know how Buddha's is going to one-up this. I think Buddha's is going to stay simplistic. Dranger said, "I would not want Zero Fuku's power." I think Zero Fuku had more than that ability. He is a god. I think that's what he decided to do, and it almost seemed like his power manifested. He looked at humans like, "What can I do? What can I do? What can I do?" He's like, "Well, I'm a god. maybe I'll be able to rip out their humanity, or not their humanity. Maybe I'll be able to take their misfortune from them. Worth a shot, and he tries it, and it seems to work. You know, it's more like he came up with the idea, and the power manifested based on how he was going to help. It seemed that way to me, but that'd be sort of weird, because that would imply that any of the gods could do it. Yeah, so I'm not sure, but I wouldn't want his power at all. Dragon Church is right. Ms. Condon says, I think it's the idea that just having material things doesn't make you happy, just gives you momentary distractions. Which is very true. My God, I can't speak tonight. This is what happens when I don't drink, guys. I don't care that it's a Tuesday. God damn it. But, yeah. Having momentary distractions, like, I'll admit right now that I am materialistic for things. I love my collections. I love my book collections. I love my Blu-ray collections. I love my nice things. You know, I save up money and I buy nice things. I bought a curved monitor. I built my own computer that I like. I bought myself a high quality television. I bought myself a nice truck. I bought myself a nice house. I care where I live. I care that I have a pretty lawn. I care that I wash my truck. I care. So I'm not like overly obsessed like to the level that they're talking about here. But the materialism, I do get materialism because I'm materialistic. I think everybody is to a degree. You like your video games, you like your food, you like your, I don't know, whatever floats your boat. You like your car, you like your boat, you like your, you know. So yeah. Dragons said, yeah, Griever, you have it all, a roof overhead, food, and even a bar. So I do have a bar, but the problem is the bar has no liquor in it. So the bar is pretty much useless. It's like a useless big paperweight. Yeah, I've got it all. I've got it all. You summed it up with the bar. Got it all. Ms. Condon said, Zerofuku has had more reason to want to wipe out humanity than any other god we've seen so far. Poseidon, no. Zeus, no. Thor, no. Well, Heracles fought for humanity, so that's a no-go. Shiva, no. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I'll give you that. Definitely, what about... Well, Jack has a reason... No, Jack didn't really have a good reason. Well, he had a reason to kill his mother, I guess. But he didn't have a reason because that was a rotten piece of shit. We're not doing a Jack's mother thing, don't worry. Go check out the Jack discussion video for that shit. Yeah, I think he has the greatest reason of both sides to hate humanity. I'm trying to go down the list of who also has like a great reason to despise humanity. And honestly, everybody's blown out of the water by Zerofuku. Zero has the greatest reason, like, and I'm not lying. Once again, when this all started, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. I have not actually disagreed with why the gods would vote to take us all out. Seriously. Like, can you not guys see it? I can see it. Like, no, I don't want to die. I don't want people around me to die. I like a lot of people. But I understand that humanity is also we have a lot of sins. We got a lot of sins. And we are not a good thing for the planet. We are greedy, selfish creatures. You know, we're not really a good thing as a generalization. I think Tommy Lee Jones and Men in Black said it. A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals. And it's like, yeah, so an individual can be fine, but how many when you fill up that auditorium full of people? You see it in all these things like Attack on Titan and Full Metal Alchemist and Death Note and all this stuff. Like, you see it in these series where it's just like, yeah, humanity is rotten. Like as a general rule, we are a horrible thing. As we're a plague. As Smith in the Matrix comparing us to a virus and a plague. We don't develop natural equilibriums with the surrounding environment like every other creature. We take. We never give back. We're sort of awful. So I understand why the gods did it. You know, on just a general rule, Zerofuku was down there, saw it all happen, and he just. I hate to say it, I really now feel sympathy for Zerofuku, and I don't want him to die because I think he's got a legitimate reason to win. Oh, man. Chubb said, Zero is the only god so far that deserves to kill humanity. Yeah, pretty much. Tenryo said, really glad to see another backstory showing the bad side of humanity. Jack's backstory was just the beginning. Yeah, Jack's backstory showed individual evil. Now we're seeing generalization of evil, which is what I was talking about. So yeah, like it's definitely there. Caden said, just a child of God who did not know the evils of humanity. Pretty much. Ms. Condon said, honestly, didn't expect very much depth from Zerofuku. Very pleasantly surprised by this chapter. Totally surprised. Totally taken back. This is a 10 out of 10 chapter, guys. This is fantastic because it's adding layers of depth that we did not expect. We didn't care if Zerofuku had a good backstory, did we? The whole thing is everybody's a Buddha stan, especially when he flipped. So everybody's been on the Buddha hype train. Nobody really cares if Zerofuku's a one-dimensional combatant. Nobody cared. It wasn't necessary for this to be a good round. It wasn't necessary for it to be good chapters because we all were on the Buddha hype train. The fact that they took the time to make Zerofuku this in-depth, I mean, just gotta praise it. Gotta praise it completely. Vib said, romance can definitely take away from a story. I've never seen romance take away from a story. When the hell has romance ever done that to a good story? When did you have a good story, romance was added, and then it got shitty as a result? I'm curious. I'm trying to rack my brain about a story that actually did that. I can't think of one. I'm not saying there isn't one, but Vib, I want to know. You give me a list of some names. I want some names. I really do, because I've never seen romance take away from a story. You know, like, oh my god, I wish that they didn't have that romantic element. You know? Let's see. Dragon's Rage said, very too, Griever 2021. I knew you wouldn't let me forget it, dagnabbit. Viv said, you can be both filthy rich and poor at the same time. It depends on the cost of living too, not just where you started. That's very true as well. You know? And you can take it more literally. Somebody, like, depending on where you live in the world, as you said, the cost of living and stuff, you can be considered poor or rich depending on your perspective, where you live, what you possess. You know, if I was living in the heart of LA with my income, I'd be considered poor. I would not be considered middle class. I'd be considered poor because in the heart of LA, every home is over $1 million. So I couldn't afford one. So I wouldn't be able to live in LA. So I'd be a poor person in LA, right? So that's true. You do have that perspective. Everything's relative. It's not as black and white. It's not so simple as Vib's pointing out, as I'm pointing, as everybody. I don't think anybody here is disagreeing with this fact that everything is in the gray area with this shit, which is good for this backstory because it's making everything three-dimensional. It's really good. Dranger said, I don't see any good reason to wipe out humanity since, you know, I am part of humanity and I haven't done anything to deserve being wiped out. Which, yeah, see, the problem with that reasoning, and I understand that, but, like, and I get it. That's why I said the same thing. Like, no, I don't think I deserve to die. I don't think, you know, that this, that, and the other thing. But imagine being the overarching thing and watching. Imagine, like, Mother Nature. Like, let's take gods out of the equation. Let's take Mother Nature. She's just like, oh, this was such a nice planet, the animal kingdom, the circle of life. Everything's been working. Everything's been evolving. Things have been going quite well. We had the asteroid killed my first set of creatures with the dinosaurs, but some of them survived. They've evolved. And, you know, it's still, everything's going well and stuff. Like, there was never an army of lions that went and wiped out the entire population of tigers. You know what I mean? So imagine all this stuff. Imagine if humanity wasn't here, what a simple circle of life, lovely place the earth would be. You know? No war, that shit, you know? Like, in general, I'm just saying. I mean, I see the good reason, I know what I'm saying. Misconduct said, good job, Dragon's Rage. You've discovered why genocide is always wrong. And Chubb's clapping. I mean, yeah, fair enough, guys. As I said, I'm not advocating for it either. I'm just saying I can understand Light Yagami from Death Note. And the results speak for themselves at the end of the series. He wasn't wrong in the end. Yes, he's a mass murderer. But we have one sinner lowering crime by over 70% in the world by killing bad people. Like, I mean, it worked. The world became a safer place. Of course, after he died and stuff, blah, blah, blah. But the world legitimately, and I firmly believe that. I don't think Death Note was wrong to paint that perspective. If that had happened here in the real world, crime would go down. That's a fact. The world would be a more peaceful place. There would be less crime and violence and war and etc. The nuclear missiles wouldn't matter. Everybody would be too afraid of the Death Note. And it's just a thing. That's all I'm saying. Bob is in here. Said, did you know Aphrodite? I believe you mean to say Aphrodite there. It's spelled a little odd, but is the original fighter. Sadly, she got replaced by Chad Buddha. Well, I was curious why they showed Aphrodite so much in the beginning, and a lot of people were telling me that she was one of the original fighters, along with humanity having Babe Ruth, which would have been cool. Yeah, I mean, having Buddha there, see, because I think they always wanted Buddha probably on humanity's side, as he is a human turned god, but they thought that this would be a better twist, probably. Something like that. Who knows? Caden said maybe at the end of the fight, Fuku will revert back to his kind self before his death. Probably. I still think that Buddha's going to win. Dragon's Rage said, I never knew Misk. You never knew genocide was wrong? My God, genocide. Vib said, you could technically live on the sidewalk in LA. I mean, you can live on the sidewalk here. I don't think there's a law technically against it here either. I just don't want to live on it. Chubb said, Viv moving to America to live on the sidewalk outside my house. There you go. Chubb's like, hey, Viv, you want a piece of toast? It's so cold. That'd be funny. Viv said, actually, that'd be a tragedy. That wouldn't be funny. I'm sorry, Viv. Viv said, I could afford a house in Wyoming. Isn't that like the country in Wyoming? Like Utah and Connecticut and all that shit. You get Arkansas. It's Arkansas, you idiot. You know, I don't know. I don't know enough about the states. That's my wife's job, being an American. Okay, so we're caught up with the chat. All right, let's jump back. We're at page 35. We're an hour into the stream. We're only halfway through the chapter. So 2-hour stream was not far off. Alrighty, let's continue. Huh? Okay, we have, oh, he's just lying on the ground there, staring wide-eyed. I feel so sad for him. I mean, look at those eyes. This is like a Gollum transformation happening. Just going completely nuts. That was a little high-pitched, even for me. That sort of hurt. Is this real? No, it can't be. There's no way this can be real, right? And he's just laying there. Completely laying there. And there's the birds. Oh! The bird. Oh, no. Oh, no. Don't hurt the bird. Don't hurt the bird. It's literally... Now, this is unrealistic, of course, but who cares? The bird that was saved, the baby bird, recognizes the nice man who saved him. So he's going there with hearts and love towards him like, hey, you. So much. Oh, and now the bird's shocked like, I went through so much to take away their misfortune. Okay, he didn't hurt the bird. The bird got the hell out of there. Bird got the hell out of there. So let's see. And we see, alright, the hair is turning black and everything. Why? To take away their misfortune. Why? Why couldn't I make them happy? I mean, happiness being relative here. They're not unhappy. They're just now spoiled little shits who don't appreciate their happiness. They don't respect their happiness. They're not grounded anymore because they had nothing to learn. Well, they should have learned and they didn't because humanity is lazy by nature. So we see them drinking. We see them, smoking up like these guys are high as a kite. What are the women doing? Why are they naked and why are they pulling on a chain? They're like both pulling on it. Are they fighting over who gets the jeweled thong? Is that what's happening? I have no idea. So then, boom, walks forward. Boom, boom. Wait a minute. No, it's not him. Somebody else is walking forward. They're all like, huh? What's going on? Okay, now it looks like a bunch of scrawny people. Their feet are dirty. They're walking back to this village. Huh? What? What in the... And Zerofuku isn't off the ground yet. He's still looking along. Oh my god, there's like a tiger. There's like a goat. What the hell? Okay, they're walking forward. What's this going to be now? Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. We have a bunch of people with tigers and bulls and oxes and whatever, rabbits and snakes, walking forward. They're injured, they're scrawny, but they're all smiling. A parade of them coming through this very now rich city or town. They're walking through like a goddamn parade, but they all have smiles on their faces. They're all content and they're all happy. So now we're seeing the flip side of it, that some people he did save appreciated the true happiness. We see people like this dude's missing a leg, still smiling with a crutch. This guy's got a broken arm. This guy's missing his hand. This guy's old and frail, but they're all walking through with smiles on their faces. So now we're seeing the flip side, that what he did help some of humanity. We're seeing the flip coin. Okay. Let's see. What are they doing? They've even got animals. What's that progression all about? I already know. So Zerofuku's still lying on the ground. What is he going to think of this? I already know. They're a bunch of unhappy people I met somewhere, asking me to take away their... Oh, no. Oh, no. He's gonna... Oh, no. I did not see this coming. Oh, no. Oh, no. Huh? May I please have one of those beans too? Buddha-sama? Zerofuku couldn't believe his own eyes. And gave him beans. Oh, have as many as you want. It's the Buddha. The people following that man appeared raggedly, but so it was people that he helped. But now Buddha basically, for some reason, their faces were beaming with joy and completely content. Which, as I said, that's the difference. Zerofuku, these were the expressions he was looking for on the face of these people. It doesn't matter if they're rich or whatever, but they're squandering their happiness. Like they're still not happy with their station. You know, they elevated themselves from the poor to the rich, but the rich are unsatisfied. They're no longer happy, even though they should be thrilled with their current status. And these people are all like, what? What's going on? For some reason. And so Buddha did what he couldn't, or he feels like Buddha took away, like he tried so hard, he suffered for all these people, and then Buddha got the fame for it. Zerofuku's lying there on the ground. I'm surprised Buddha didn't even notice him. Let's see. So Zerofuku lying there on the ground, completely shocked, eyes bugged out. And the people, no. Alright, this is a little crazy, but okay. They put, the alcoholic dude is putting down the drink. The guys that were fighting are sort of, forget it. People having sex are like, yeah, no. The guy who was eating so much is now like, maybe I shouldn't. Huh? So, walking by, he's walking right by him. Buddha's walking right by him. Zerofuku's looking at him, staring at Buddha. Buddha doesn't even look at him. Zerofuku watches this dude walk by him without a care in the world. And then he screams, "Wait!" Buddha turns around. Zerofuku stands up and says, "Why? Why are they? Why? Do you want to come with too?" says Buddha. "Why are they? Do you want some beans?" Zerofuku slaps the beans out of his hand. Now this is before Buddha was a god. I imagine this is before Buddha was a god, of course. He obtained divinity at the end. So why do the humans you're with look so happy? I worked myself like crazy, trying to absorb all of their misfortune. Why? Why aren't they even a little bit happy? In fact, they've gotten less and less happy. I'm comprehending this about 90%. They're less happy than before. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that they're less happy than before. You could argue that they're... Yeah, I mean, maybe he's sort of seeing it because he's like, they have all these riches and they're not anywhere near the same... Like, they should be completely elated. They should be in seventh heaven in euphoria right now. And they're not in a euphoric state of happiness with everything they have now, with no misfortune. And they seem... Yeah, I'm sort of... Why aren't they even a little bit happy? I would argue that they are. I'm pretty sure, like, Buddy that didn't recognize him, who turned into an asshole, I'm pretty sure he's happier with the two women on his arm walking down the street in clothes. I'm pretty sure he's happier than he was when he was dying from something in his chest, when he was having a heart valve problem or whatever. Pretty sure he's happier now. But I guess it's relative. As I said, I'm sort of missing this direction slightly. But I still, it's not taken away from it. He tried to absorb all those misfortune. He's seeing the difference. He took away their misfortune. They got all rich and prosperous, but they don't look any more, for the most part, they're not really any more happy. They've got more things. They became more materialistic. They don't suffer from the 8 pains anymore, but they're not happy. I think that's part of the point. None of them are really suffering currently from the 8 pains. But for some reason, they're no happier than when they were suffering from the 8 pains. So, and now he's seeing like the people that are following Buddha don't have their misfortune taken from them, are still suffering in their own way, but they're happy. And he's wondering why he's suffering. So I definitely get that. So let's see what Buddha's answer is. In fact, they've even gotten less and less happy. So Buddha must recognize that this is a god of some sort. I'm curious. Absorb their misfortune? That ain't right. What? Happiness, and he eats the bean, ain't something you can give to other people. It's something you've got to attain for yourself. Which is fair enough. Okay. He looks on to Buddha. Buddha smiles at him. Silent. Where there's shadow, there's light too, you know. Shadow? Light? He's not really understanding. Let's see. In the words of the enlightened one, you desire happiness, you say. Then carry the yoke which is most suited to you. That is the state which will bring delight, and the shadow which shall ultimately bear true happiness. So let's read that again. So you desire happiness, then carry the yoke which is most suited to you. That is the state which will bring delight, and the shadow shall ultimately bear true happiness. That's some deep shit. That's pretty deep. I've never really read any of the Buddha words and teachings and stuff. I probably should. It might make me a happier, less stressed out person. I should probably read that shit. Because as I said, at times you can feel humble and compassionate. I know I'm well off relative to many, many people in the world. And then I'm also not well off compared to others. So it depends on your perspective. But you have to look at it well, this is terrible because I drank the water. But you have to look at the glass half full. It's hard at times to do so, but I'm pretty sure that's basically what this is saying. It's another way of saying, look at the glass half full. Accept what you have, not begrudge what you don't. Right? And strive, and sure, go ahead and strive for more. But don't be disappointed. Always be satisfied with what you have. A good saying that I'm sure I never made up myself, but I always said, shoot for the stars, settle for the sky. That's something I've always said. Because it's the same idea. It's the same, analogy sort of idea. You didn't make it to space, but you're still flying. Right? So, you were on the ground before. You shot for space, but you're still flying in the sky. Got to be pretty happy with that. So, let's see. So Buddha then states, so how about it? Want to reach enlightenment with me, bud? Calls him bud. I suppose this is exactly like Buddha was so... I'm sure it went down a little different than this in reality, but... This is a very interesting chapter, but of course Zerofuku's not going to go with this. We know from his evil ways. Bud, he says, Buddha-sama, 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 Buddha-sama. Ugh, ugh. And he sees all the people crowding around Buddha as Zerofuku's left, and nobody... I understand now the resentment he's probably going to have towards them, because look, these are all the rich people now. These are all the people that were rich, that he helped, that he suffered for. That basically be like this is basically sort of like Christ being nailed to the cross, taking on the sins of everybody, and then everybody, in this day and age, nobody followed his churches. And then everybody followed somebody else. He tried... He didn't know how to help them. Buddha had a better way to help humanity, fine dandy. But it doesn't take away from the fact that Zerofuku tried. He tried to help humanity in the best way that he knew how. He wasn't doing it because he was arrogant or anything. He thought taking away their misfortune should make them happier. And ideally, it would. If you take it, think about anything else. Think about people who have depression, anxiety, or stress levels that rival, the greatest of them, like me. Then why do you think I'm hunched over all the time? Stress, right? So, if someone were to take away that stress, I would argue that I would be a happier person because I wouldn't be stressed. I'm very filled with depression and anxiety today. I had the day was okay, but it's sort of turned kind of sour after a really bad phone call at 3 o'clock, and I had to go take a nap out of sheer just, I just couldn't deal. I was like, can I just get a fucking break, And it's all due to stupid things. Things that I can't control, but that get to me because I take on stress. I'm bad at dealing with stress. So, I understand Zerofuku from this perspective. He did all the work, and now Buddha's getting all the praise. He went about it the wrong way, sure, but he didn't know that. How was that his fault? He tried to help them. He, once again, it's just like Christ. He took on their sins. He suffered for their sins, nailed to the cross. But imagine Christ going through all that, and then nobody builds him a church. You know, after he dies, the disciples go, yeah, fuck this, and nobody compiled. There was no Council of Nicaea. There's no King James Bible. There's no nothing. There's no Vatican. There's no Catholic Church. There's no nothing. After all that, you know, I'd be pissed off if I were, you know, the bearded bastard. I'd be pretty pissed off too. So Zero Fuku's basically like that. He's basically, you know, suffering, doing the suffering of Christ, and never got a church. Never got a following. They treat him like they don't even know him. And Buddha's taking all the, not that Buddha's taking from his credit, but Buddha went about it a different way. There is so much to go over with this one. Holy shit. I did not expect Buddha to, god damn, what a chapter. What a chapter. And the next page, Zero Fuku runs away screaming and crying. Wonder what that was all about. Dunno, says Buddha. Maybe if he had tried harder? I don't know. Puberty's rough, huh? I suppose he's not at full God. He's still a child of a god right now. God became jealous of man. He became jealous. This is where the sins are going to start. Jealous of man. But that's my job. It was a humiliation which none like him could bear. Yeah, because Buddha's not a god right now. He tried to help humanity. They don't even praise him, and now they're praising a human that did what he couldn't. That was his job, something he took on. He saw the suffering. He tried to help them. Humanity is evil to the core, and, you know, another human could only help them. The gods couldn't help them. Jesus Christ, this is just so... wow. So he runs and runs into the forest. He's at a lake. What the hell? That human, what was his deal? But I tried so hard. I feel so bad for this guy. I hope Buddha acknowledges. Buddha must remember this guy. He's going to remember him. I need him to, because I know Buddha's not exactly like the nicest dude in the world, but he needs to acknowledge him. He needs to talk him down from this ledge, because it's not Zero Fuku's fault. It's humanity's fault. Humanity failed the god. God didn't fail. Humanity failed him. So yeah. Oh my Jesus. Damn it, as many myths recount. Damn it. And oh, now he's transforming. Damn it. Divine love quickly turns into hatred. And we see him just completely ravenous. And so, all the evil, all the swirling gets sucked in. He becomes Zero Fuku, and it all congests to that heart. He resolved to destroy mankind many times over. Gluttony, pride, lust, wrath, avarice, sloth, envy. Wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, they're going to call it avarice. They're not going to call it greed. Okay, that's fine. That really took a load off. I think it's time to murder. So this is where he transformed. Okay, so he never really matured as a god. It's sort of like a Skull Greymon sort of situation going on here, right? Forced himself. He had a forced digivolution into a virus. So instead of going Metal Greymon, he went Skull Greymon. He went the bad path. He went to the dark side of the Force. Though, totally fine, dandy. Hey, what's that over there? We see humans, and he's looking at them. It's a monster. And he rushes them. Gasp. He's rushing him. He's about to attack. And then the woman turns to protect her baby. To protect the baby. And he stops. Shaking in fear. Abu, Abu. Shaking but defiant. A mother protecting her child. And he's shaking. He can't bring himself to do it. He cannot bring himself to do it. So he roars to the heavens. And the little baby is not afraid and wants to comfort him, wants to help, which is that's sort of sweet. Oh my! This chapter, layer upon layer upon layer. We got layers here, people. This is a goddamn Spanish onion. We got layers on top of layers on top of layers. This ain't no simple yellow onion we're dealing with here. We got a nice big one. We got something worthwhile. Okay. This chapter is the Spanish onion of Valkyrie. All right. He's going to try to kill himself. He's going to stop himself. He's choking himself to death to prevent himself from murdering them, because at his heart, at his soul, he's still Zerofuku. He's still the good god that wanted to help humanity. And that's when it breaks apart. Oh no, he didn't choke himself. He tore open the hole in his chest. Okay, I missed that. It looked like a hand there. But no, he grabbed it, and now he's ripping out his hollow hole there, because it's totally a hollow from Bleach. He's an Arankar. So he takes his Arankar hole, and he's just ripping it. And that's how he's going to be split into the 7 lucky gods, isn't it? What? And they all split. Phew. Shit. That was close. Any more, we would have been given divine punishment to all of humanity. Okay, so he split up into 7 forms to protect himself from, to protect humanity from him. Okay, so now we got them all split up. Damn it, ain't like me to get that unhinged. Unleashing all that bad luck would have been pretty disastrous. Oh, he was going to unleash like all the misfortune he took in, and he was going to sort of unleash it upon humanity. That's good and all, but that Buddha mook, we gotta make him pay for this, yeah? Turning a blind eye to the gods and leading mankind along himself. Absolute contempt towards the gods means divine punishment. However, the time is not yet ripe. We're leaving Bishamonten. On the verge of wreaking havoc upon humanity. Alright, we're going to see this kid in the crowd. You know we're going to see this kid in the crowd. What was that all about? Kid waves goodbye. They're gods? Zerofuku split himself into 7 gods. The 7 lucky gods. 7. No. 8 gods? I'm saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But technically, 7? No. 8 gods. Because Zerofuku is the 8th. And so, the legend of the 8 lucky gods was born. It's finally here. So we have Zerofuku. It's finally here. The moment I get to give you divine punishment in front of everyone. Now, be gone from my sight. Okay, we're so close to finishing the chapter. I was going to check the chat, but I think I'm just going to finish the chapter. So we got that crazy axe again. I won't regret this at all. Because it's your fault for making me look like such a complete ass. I mean, it's actually humanity's fault. It's humanity's fault. Boom! I knew it. I said that he was going to grab this axe. I called it. He was going to grab this axe and go, ha 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 ha, I'm Hollow Ichigo. Ha 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 ha. And then he was just going to go, boom. And that's exactly what happened. He just kicks him right in the gut. Boom, Buddha, not even trying. Oof. Down. Brunhild, everyone's shocked. Even Hermes and Brunhild, they're shocked. Ugh, God. Buddha's standing there. Sorry. Who are you? Oh, no, don't do it, Buddha. This is insult. This is bad. Like, we all want to be on that Buddha hype train, but no. He's got to acknowledge him. He's got to realize what humanity did to him. They have to have the talk. Buddha must know what he went through. He's got to know. After achieving divinity, he probably didn't know back then. He didn't know about the god. He didn't know about Zerofuku and all his suffering and stuff. He told him, but maybe he didn't see like the true level that he went through to do that. He's got to understand his suffering. Like, come on, Buddha. You got to be better than that, man. Who are you again? saying the same words as the fucking kid. The first one he tried to help. Who are you? Who the hell? Oh, that's the end of the chapter. Wow. Okay. Just wow. Yeah, wow. Let's go up and see. Let's see what people are saying about this one. Yeah. Let's go. Let's see. Dragon's Rage said those eyes are creepy as hell. They are, actually. They're super creepy. Miss Condit says, imagine being such a Chad that you interrupt your enemy's tragic backstory with a part of your own so far uplifting backstory. Yeah, that's some salt right there. That's some sprinkling of some salt. Dragon's Rage said, readers. Oh my, Zero is such an interesting character. Readers after Buddha appears. Oh my god, Buddha, he's so goddamn cool. Oh yeah, Zero's here too. But oh my god, Buddha is so... Oh my god, he's so goddamn cool. Yeah, that's true. Chubb says, need current Buddha to have that outfit, not the fucking Rabbit Chan shirt. Actually, I do like the original outfit, way more badass. He's got Jedi robes, for fuck's sake. He's a Jedi back then. MC Dude said, stupid sexy Buddha. If my name is Buddha, do you think I'm sexy? Let's see. Dragon's Rage said, and that's from MC Dude. Hey, MC Dude, glad you can make it. Dragon's Rage said, the alcoholic dude puts down the drink. Griever. Wow, this is just crazy. This is craziness. I mean, I'm being good. I don't have any beer today. I'm being good, Dragon's Rage. You leave me and my alcoholism alone. But yeah, I mean, that is pretty crazy. Like, you have perfectly good ale there and you're going to put it down? Only reason to do that is to have a pregnant wife or a kid. It's the only reason to put down the booze. Health? Blah. MC Dude said, he's like Jesus, but instead of martyring himself, he pulled an Ultron and decided humanity could go to hell. No, he's Jesus who got fucked over, though. Like, he is Jesus. Like, he literally took on their misfortune, took on their sins, except the difference is Jesus got all the praise for doing it. Not at the time, he was still killed and stuff, but later in life, he still had his followers. This dude had nobody but a bird. He had a bird, and he didn't even know the bird remembered him. So not a single one of these humans came to him after he helped them. Nobody created a following for Zero Fuku. There were no temples built. There was no followers. There was no divinity. And so he suffered with nothing. He was better off before he started. At least, so he's a failed Jesus, but he didn't fail. Humanity failed him. And then we get the Ultron version, and I'm not completely against the fact that he went Ultron on their ass. I'm good with that. Like, if I was in his situation, I'd probably go Ultron. You know? Misconduct said, moral of the story, trying to take on anyone else's problems to make them happier will only make you suffer. People must learn to become happy on their own. That's what we should be teaching in the Catholic Church. Jesus might have taken your sins, but that doesn't mean he should have. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. But yeah. That's true. Never take on somebody else's problems. You need to learn how to become happy on your own. Buddhism has better concepts. Buddhism has some good concepts on how to make yourself happy. Treat yourself with respect. Treat yourself happy. You know? Miss Condit said, neat detail. The crowd following Buddha and leaving Zero Fuku alone looks like yin and yang. It did too. It had the yin and yang. I noticed how it curved. That is pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't notice that at first, but good eye, miss. Good eye. Dragon's said, it's the little details. You're goddamn right. Dragon's said, also the moral of the story actually is, Buddha is a Chad. Buddha is a Chad. Buddha is a straight up fucking Chad. Miss Condon said, glad to see I wasn't the only one who thought it kind of like Jesus. It's literally Jesus. It's a failed Jesus because humanity failed. If humanity had failed Jesus, we wouldn't have Christianity. We wouldn't have the Catholic Church. America would probably be a hell of a lot different, probably for the better. We wouldn't have a bunch of priests with, the Vatican with about a list as long as my arm of pedophile cases against them. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. But yeah. Miss Condon said, But yeah, I'm just taking shots at the Catholic Church at that point. Dragon's Rage said, Buddha is such a Chad, he made this chat religious. It's so true. It's so true. Caden said, have you noticed the only person Buddha didn't share his food with was Zeus? That's true. It's very true. He was going to share it with Brunhild and everything too. Vib said, Zero just salty. Buddha is better at his job than him. Well, he is, but Buddha's doing it after Zerofuku already helped them, suffered for it. You think Jesus would be happy if that happened to him instead? You know, you think Jesus would have been all good with it either? No, I'm totally still on Zerofuku's side. It's not Buddha's fault. It's not Buddha's fault. I'm not blaming Buddha. But of course he's salty over that. This dude is suffering from pain probably worse than we can know. He's been suffering for years to help us. And he's gotten zero recognition, treated like scum by the people he saved. Like, imagine being a doctor, saving 1,000 people, 10,000 people from incurable illnesses, and then when you get sick, everybody abandons you. Nobody even tries to start you a GoFundMe page. Nobody tries to help you. Everybody says, and the patients that you saved from incurable cancers asked, who the hell are you again? I'd become a Jack the Ripper overnight after that fucking happened. You know, like, Jesus. It's just awful. It's pretty one-dimensional there, Vib. I mean, yeah, he's salty. He's definitely salty, but he got every reason. I mean, Jesus Christ, he should be pouring on the salt. He should be taking a jar full and just like dumping that salt. And he's got every reason to have that salt. Humanity, he might be salty. Here's what I'm going to say. Zero might be salty at Buddha, but humanity was the one who handed him the salt jar. Okay? Humanity handed him that salt jar. Tenryo said, this is literally the first backstory to involve both combatants of the fight in it. Adds an extra layer of personal stakes in the match already. Yeah, I did not expect this at all. This has been one of the best chapters of Valkyrie. This is so damn good. Can't believe Valkyrie keeps upping its game. It just keeps getting better, doesn't it? Misconduct says, getting one backstory out of the way now should do wonders for the pacing of this fight. I mean, it really will. They barely started the match, and we've already gotten it. And it was a great fight. I wasn't backstory. I wasn't bored by it. Totally unexpected, left field, layers upon layers. It was fantastic. Tenryo said it was smart for Zerofuku to get his backstory first because we've already invested in Buddha and the former need to get the readers to care about it. That's the beauty of it. I already said it before in the stream earlier that we didn't need Zerofuku to have this crazy backstory. His backstory could have been one-dimensional. He could have just been, I punished them because that's my job. It's my divine right as a god. He could have been a one-dimensional god, very little backstory, no good reason for it, just like, this is my true form. I punish humans because that is my calling. And because we're on the Buddha hype train, it wouldn't have mattered. But they took the time. They didn't need to, but they took the time to make us give a shit. Like, I like Buddha. I'm still on the Buddha hype train. But I feel for Zerofuku. I didn't think I would. I feel for that guy. Humanity treated him like garbage when they should have been propping him up like, you know, with churches and followers. So, yeah, totally get it. Dragon's Rage said, not going to lie, the moment Buddha kicked him, I thought the fight was over. I didn't think the fight was over, but I did say that this was going to be a one-sided fight, that Buddha was going to just kick the shit out of him. I said that this was going to be one of the first one-sided fights since Lubu Thor. I did call that. Misconduct said, well, just because he forgot him doesn't mean Zerofuku can't remind him. True. I don't think he really forgot him. I think Buddha's probably going to try to teach him a lesson in his own Buddhist way, maybe. I would... Because... To me, it wouldn't take away from Buddha's character, but I would like Buddha as a character less if he straight up forgot. You know? Or he didn't know. If he honestly didn't know. That would make me like him as a character less. Maybe not as a character, but I personally, like, I'd be like, okay, that's a shitty move on Buddha's part. Like, that's not a nice guy move. Like, Buddha's not a nice guy, you know? So... He's not as all, hallelujah, you know, humanity loves him because he solves their problems, just like in his way. Buddha, they both did the exact same thing, trying to help humanity. Zerofuku's way, humanity didn't appreciate him. Buddha did. Simple as that. Had humanity told Buddha to go fuck himself, he probably wouldn't have turned out the way he did. So, you know. Vib said, Japanese being old-ass language, it is. It has different words for different types of happiness. I mean, fair enough. Chubb said, I predict we're going to have an emotional moment with Zero versus Buddha, and the chapter ends with something like, I remember you. That's what I'm saying. I think Buddha's putting this on. He knows exactly who Zero Fuku is. He remembers him now after becoming a god and stuff. He's like, that's what happened. He probably didn't know it at the time. He was trying to help him, but he didn't understand the weight of what went down. And now Buddha literally is doing this because he wants this confrontation. He wants to help him. You know, that would be cool. Oh, Misk also said Buddha is the best character. Buddha is one of the best characters. Yeah. Still not the best. Still got to stand Heracles with me. But yeah. But I definitely agree with Chubb. We're going to get something like that probably. Viv said, I'll get the expanded meaning from Demi and tell you. That would be cool. Because as I said, it seems, you know, just a little something missing. But yeah. Ms. Condon said, all the humans Zerofuku helped acted like quite a bit like the gods. It's easy to see why Buddha doesn't like the gods. Absolutely. Because he helped them with divinity, and they basically took divinity. I see the parallel. Yeah, that is good. Let's see. Vib said, so the normal word for happiness in the Japanese is, I can't read kanji, but let's say. Let's call it X. Fine. The word used here, which is slightly different kanji, says, let's call it Y. MC Dude said, I disagree with the idea that humanity failed him. It's not humanity's fault he decided to take on their suffering. No, humanity failed him. You can disagree with that, but humanity failed him. They didn't fail Buddha. They didn't fail Jesus Christ. They failed Zerofuku. Zerofuku went out of his way, went 100%, gave himself, his soul, his life. You think Buddha or Jesus would have turned out as nice guys if the Catholic, if Christianity fucked that and the apostles all abandoned him and the Bible was never composed, nothing ever came of it? You think if Jesus, you know, you think he'd be happy with that? You think if Buddha tried his best and they all acted like the humanity did to Zerofuku, you think if the roles were reversed, Buddha would be all the way he is? No, humanity completely failed this dude. He tried, he gave of himself and everything to try to help them, and they spat in his face. Quite literally pushed him to the ground and spat in his face. That's failure. I'm sorry. They failed him. Alright, so back to the thing. So that's X. The word used in the chapter is called Y. X is the kind of temporary happiness you get if you got $100 out of nowhere. Some might call it joy. Okay, like a burst of happiness. Like, oh my God, I can't. You get that phone call. Hey, you won $50. Oh, cool. But it's not a consistent. Okay. Why is more of the long-lasting kind of happiness? True happiness, you would call it. Like the kind of happiness philosophers and theologians mean. Some might call it well-being. Yeah, being content, being happy on a date, not just like, oh, I just bought my new car. My new car, it's all shiny. I'm happy I got my new car. Well, are you happy every single day you own that car? Or are you just happy in the moment? There's bursts. I know what you're saying now. Okay, and that's making a lot of sense. You have the initial burst of happiness. Like, if you are drunk 24/7, it doesn't mean you're going to be happy 24/7. But one of your best nights in your life, you could be euphorically thrilled out of your mind, spending a party, having one of the best parties of your life and whatever. But it's a high. It's a burst of happiness due to drugs, food, alcohol, great company, great music, whatever. And that's a burst. I get what you're saying. Okay, now the whole happiness he's talking about is making a lot more sense. Thank you, Vib. I appreciate that explanation because that's making a lot more sense how the kanji is just not adding up exactly. Or the kanji added up, but it's hard to translate it. Fair enough. Cool. So now, I mean, I won't disagree with it. I agree with it. That makes a lot more sense. Thanks for the explanation. Ms. Content said, they've got everything and no reason to find enlightenment while humans do. Yeah. This is true. Viv said, would Jesus be happy about that? Well, I know nothing about Jesus, so you tell me. I mean, technically I'm a Protestant, so, but I never really went to church. Probably be struck down by lightning if I entered a real one. So, I mean, but I've read the Bible. Don't remember a whole lot of it, but I did read the Bible. One of my best friends is a long-time practicing Christian, so is his whole family. So, and I've done my research before, religious studies courses and shit like that. So I know a fair deal about it. But all I'm saying is that, like, anybody can be pushed. Like, it's sort of like the Joker's mentality with in the Killing Joke and stuff. Any one man can be pushed. Everybody has a limit. Anybody can have one really bad day, as he puts it, and turn out just like the Joker, right? I mean, even in stories like some of the great epics of our time, like Lord of the Rings, Frodo was transforming. Had Frodo kept the ring, had Bilbo kept the ring, they're heroes in our story, but they would have transformed into Gollum. Gollum wasn't, like, Smeagol wasn't necessarily weak in that regard. The ring will eventually take over almost every single life form in Middle-earth if exposed long enough. Everyone has the potential to become a Gollum. That's the danger of the ring. Everybody can be pushed too far. So, in my mind, like, yeah, you can take the divinity aspect of it, but then you have to say, oh, well, Jesus is infallible or whatever because he's part of God or whatever. But no, in this context, we're taking, like, Zerofuku is also a god, but not infallible, right? So, I don't know. And Buddha was a literal human. You don't think he had a breaking point? Mother Teresa didn't eventually have a breaking point and stuff? Like, we like to think that there's these, like, divine level people that were born on Earth and stuff, and they have, you know, like Gandhi and all this stuff. But I'm sure that you could have pushed them far enough to have them have a really bad day, right? And that's all that happened. That's all that happened here. And, I mean, it's hard to say. I don't know for certain, guys. I never met the man. I know Jesus is actually a historical figure, whether he's the Son of God or not. That's neither here nor there. But regardless, I never met him, so I wouldn't know. But I would think that anybody born on this earth could be pushed far enough. Everybody has a breaking point. Like Loki with the wine glasses. Everybody has a point where eventually you snap, you give up. You know, you break your code, you break your morals. Everybody can be pushed to a point. Why do you think we have people like PTSD, or people like literally broken by what they saw in war and stuff? Their mind, their soul, they couldn't handle it. Because everybody had a breaking point of how much suffering, or how much suffering they could witness, how much suffering they could take upon themselves, and everybody has a mental and a heart level of a breaking point, and that's why we have mental hospitals filled with patients who have been through traumatic experiences, that they couldn't handle it and they snapped. I'm not saying I could handle them any better. I don't know. I've never, thankfully, been in a traumatic experience enough to snap my mind, but I'm not arrogant enough to think that there isn't something out there that wouldn't. This isn't, you know, it's not, none of this is protected for certainty, you know. I don't know, I've never been to war, I wouldn't know, but yeah. And I know that Viv was just joking, but yeah, I felt like it was necessary to fully explain my thoughts there. And it's a Valkyrie stream, we're not even at the 2-hour mark, it's fine. Vib said, and the zero is salty was a one-layered, it was just a joke. Yeah, I know, but it's just sort of fun to think about, because, yeah, it's like, oh, he just salty, man. That bitch just salty. And it's like, it's not an inaccurate statement. I wasn't saying it was inaccurate, Vib. I was just saying, like, it's condensing it a little bit. But, yeah, it's not actually an inaccurate statement. He was salty at Buddha for doing his job better. That is an accurate statement, but good joke there. Let's see. Dragonster said, I don't know if Zerofuku is suffering the worst pain imaginable. I don't think he has ever stubbed his mini toe. I mean, we saw him. He's a god. We saw him congested with... Remember, he was taking away suffering that was killing humans. Like, I'm under the impression the little boy, like, the people he was helping, he took away diseases. He took away, like, death. I know he's a god, but we saw the first one affect his arm, and it was like, and then we saw him contorted, a god's body taking on so much that his nails and everything were rotten. His hand was congealed and congested, and his internal bleeding all over, and he like had to curl up in a ball and scream out. Like, I don't know, man. I'm assuming that, I mean, that pain is more than any human could possibly suffer. Let's at least put it that way. Dragon George said, yeah, I feel for Zero, but he's on the tracks of the Buddha hype train and he's going to get run over. Choo choo. Jesus. That's harsh, but okay. Ms. Condit said, oh yeah, having Buddha teach Zero Fuku how to be happy would bring it all full circle. See, I'm good with that. I'm good if it's uplifting and they help Zero Fuku in the end. Dragon's Rage said, maybe this will be the first fight to have no one die. It's got to happen eventually. Zero Fuku's probably going to, I give up. Right? Or Buddha gives up. Whatever. One of them is just going to say, no, it's their victory, and walk away. So, let's see. Dragon's Rage said, maybe this is... Yeah. MC Dude said, well, God, a.k.a. Jesus, was unhappy with humanity, so that's why God sent Jesus, a.k.a. God, down to take care of all the problems. Yeah. See, God wasn't invalid. God was already... Remember Old Testament God? He flooded the place. If you want to believe everything the Bible says, you can't pick and choose. It's not a buffet. You don't get to cherry pick the things you don't like. He flooded the earth because he remember, the Christian God wanted to wipe out humanity at one time. Just remember that. He did actively want to wipe us all out. So, I mean, he had a breaking point. And as he said, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, and God are all one and the same. So if Jesus is God, then he would have a breaking point, and had he gone through what Zero Fuku went through as Jesus, I'm just saying, might have been Noah's Ark Part 2, the resurrection. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, MC Dude bringing up the good points there. Caden said, in Thor versus Lu Bu, they said Lu Bu was the strongest fighter ever. Yeah, but I don't really buy that. I mean... Maybe, but Thor made him look like a bitch. I mean, it was still cool, but Thor made that look easy. Thor had the easiest victory so far in all the fights. Viv said, yeah, why is true happiness? Yeah, like happiness across your life. Happiness in your day-to-day. You wake up in the morning, you go to bed at night. It doesn't matter what happened during the day. You're generally a happy person. True happiness, yeah. Ms. Condon said, I don't think Buddha set out to help people in the first place. People just ended up following him when they realized he was onto something. Maybe so. I don't really know how it started. I don't know enough about it. Dranger said, hey, Viv, is it true that you hate Dragon Ball references? Absolutely, Viv hates Dragon Ball references. So let's make a few. Okay, I made a Yu-Gi-Oh reference. Oh, I already made... No, sorry. I'm only allowed... I already made 2 references to Dragon Ball this stream, so that's enough to piss off Vib, so we're good. I already made the fusion dance technique joke, and I made the, alright, this is how I do a Kamehameha joke, so, which wasn't very funny. So, yeah. I already put 2 references in there for Vib. Vib hates when I do it a lot in One Punch Man because it's easy. Because there's, like, the last, like, year of... One Punch Man has literally been Energy Blast. Like, I'm sorry, One Punch Man did not invent that. Ki Blast was sort of the Dragon Ball Z trademark. And, you know, so I make a lot of comparisons in the One Punch thing. And he just usually like, okay, can we get away from Dragon Ball for a second? All right, fair enough. But yeah. Miss Condon said, I'm too enlightened to remember people's names. Okay, that's a flex. That's a flex line, Misk. Miss said, by the way, I'm pretty sure the end goal of Buddhism is escaping the cycle of suffering through true enlightenment, which frees you from the cycle of reincarnation. Which, I mean, yeah, because we see that in Bleach, remember? Because you have the animal realm and stuff in Bleach, because there's a lot of Buddhism in Bleach. As I said, I need to study more on Buddhism. I know more about Shintoism. Don't really know enough about Buddhism to really comment. But yeah, the idea is that when you attain true enlightenment, your soul stops reincarnating. The cycle of reincarnation continues until you finally reach that level, and then it's apparently then it either ends the soul or it creates a full immortal soul that has achieved all it could do in all these cycles or something like that. I'm not sure which one happens, but yeah. Let's see. Miss Gunn says, people and gods who die in Ragnarok can no longer be reborn. So I'm guessing now Zerofuku will escape the cycle of suffering through being killed by Buddha. And that's an interesting thing. That's interesting because Buddha reached true enlightenment. So if the idea is that if you finish your cycle, you die and you don't come back, then that would make sense. But if the idea behind Buddhism is you never truly die, then maybe Buddha's an exception to the reborn rule. I don't know. That's interesting. Dragon Trade said, 0 to Buddha, I give up. Loki comes down and slices his head off. Oh my shit. Yeah, that would be crowd interference. I was talking about crowd interference. I mean, I won't say it wrong. We don't know yet. Viv said, not off references, lol. Not one-off references, lol. Griever was just very deep into saying Ki and One Punch Man's psychic powers. Yeah, because Tatsumaki's powers are not psychic powers, okay? At the end of the day, she's using fucking Ki, alright? I'm still not buying it. She, like, well, once again, it's basically, one has made psychic powers like a Ki-like system. It's its own little power system inside the power system of One Punch Man. And it's OP as fuck. So, that's what I finally settled on. But I had to compare it to Ki because she does too many things. She's able to do way too many things. I mean, you call fucking Jean Grey overpowered. You know, in X-Men, she's always been like a super overpowered character. Go on top 10 Marvel character lists. She's always ranked there because she's got telekinesis and telepathy. But Jean Grey can't do half the shit Tatsumaki can. So it's not just psychic powers. There's way more to Tatsumaki. So that's why there was the comparison, because Ki allows you to do a crazy amount of shit. So it was just easy to use Ki as the reference point. But yeah, no, that's true. But we eventually settled that one. I just said, yeah, Tatsumaki, one likes psychic powers way too much for me. That's what we settled it on. Vib said, anybody could have a bad day and turn out like the Joker. Yeah, which is, that is what I said. Well, that's what the Killing Joke says. That's what the Joker's trying to prove, is that anybody can be pushed far enough, which I would say is possible. For a lot of people, you'd have to go to crazy extremes, okay? But yeah, let's see. That's kind of sounding like the stuff you hear on U.S. News by people against gun laws trying to defend white male mass shooters. Stuff you hear by people against gun laws trying to defend white male mass shooters. No, I don't think it is. Because the idea that anybody can have a bad day and turn out like the Joker does not justify anybody turning out like the Joker. It's just a possibility among humans. It doesn't defend their actions in any stretch. But I'm definitely not against gun laws. Look, man, I mean, I live in Canada. I think the U.S. gun laws are absolutely abysmal. They need them. It's absolutely insane. I mean, you just have to look at the stats. The numbers don't lie for gun violence. But, yeah, I would never defend white male shooters. But no, the idea that, or any shooters for that matter, it doesn't need to be white males. But anybody could have a single bad day and turn out like the Joker. I still firmly believe that. Like, that wouldn't defend my actions going forward, but you can understand why. Like, Zerofuku turning evil, you understand where he came from. You can empathize and sympathize. It doesn't justify had he murdered that mother and child, which he didn't, by the way. Remember, he didn't actually kill anybody. He didn't actually do it. But had he done it, it wouldn't have justified what he did, killing the mother and child. But you can empathize and sympathize how he reached that breaking point from point A to point B. You don't need to agree with it. It doesn't excuse what he did. But you can see he wasn't just born. He wasn't like Hitler and just born evil, which I firmly believe Hitler was just born like fucking psychotic. Like some people are born psychotic, right? And stuff like that. That's an actual thing. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like I don't want to get too dark, like super dark or whatever, but I'm pretty sure you could take all my family members, my wife and stuff, and you could tie me up and force me to watch certain things happen, and I'm pretty sure my mind would snap. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, when people are pushed, first off, they'll try to save their own life. Anybody who says I could never take a human life is bullshit, because instinctively you will try to, your body will instinctively try to defend itself. Your body doesn't want to die. You ever tried to commit, well, this is even darker. You ever, like, anybody who's ever tried to commit suicide, guess what? When your mind loses consciousness, if you try to drown yourself, your body fights to get to the surface. Because your body does not care what mental state your mind is in trying to kill yourself. Your body does not care. Your body has a survival instinct built into it. Every human on Earth has a survival instinct built into its body. It's got nothing to do with up here. Does not, the brain will always, the body will try to protect itself subconsciously, regardless what the forefront of your mind is doing. So, I don't know. As I said, I don't want to get too detailed with that stuff, but I'm pretty sure you could push me far enough. I could see it. You know, like, there's some sick bastards out there, man. There's some sick people out there. I mean, how many of my family members do you want to, like, you know, cut their fingers off and mutilate and do a bunch of, I don't even want to go further than that, but you guys know what I'm saying. You guys know what I'm implying without continuing the gory details. How many hours do you want me to watch that happen before you don't think that any of you would snap? Right? So, you know what I'm saying. Not to get too dark here, but saying anybody could have a bad day and turn out like the Joker is not protecting fucking shooters in the U.S. that shoot up schools and hospitals. That's not defending their actions at all. That's saying that every human on Earth has something that can push them over the edge. And I still firmly believe that. Let's see. Caden said Buddha equals Heracles, Zero equals Vegeta, the Boo Saga. You got the reference. I like the play there, though. The Buddha, the Boo Saga. Yeah, Buddha being Heracles is a little, you know. Yeah. Good thought process going there, Caden. Dragon's Rage said, I don't think anybody's born evil, otherwise you would have to imprison babies, which seems a bit too cruel. Not necessarily born evil, but people are born psychotic, like the brain doesn't connect in the right way. People are born lacking empathy or sympathy. It's the wiring in the brain got crossed. That is a proven fact. My wife has studied some of that shit before, and people are born with certain wires crossed wrong in their brain from birth. They can't help it. It doesn't mean they're necessarily evil, but if you lack empathy and sympathy, you are classified as being psychotic because your actions, like there's a whole thing there. I don't want to go down that road. I think there was like a House episode about it, House MD, about someone who was psychotic. And it was like, because if you can't feel empathy and sympathy, then everything is a tool to you. Everything is just useful until it's not. So your actions would appear evil. So technically people can be born evil given the loose description of what evil is. But people can be born psychotic. That's a fact. Vib said, yeah, we're agreeing here. Just said it sounded like a similar reasoning. See, I don't watch a lot of U.S. news. I watch the Trump-Biden shit just because I wanted to make for goddamn sure that we didn't have the orange Hitler back in office and, down south of the border. So I was watching that with bated breath. But other than that, I don't watch that shit because all the gun shootings and stuff just makes me infuriated. I'm like, how is that possible? I wouldn't know how to get a gun in my country. Like, we don't have a gun store. We literally, you have a gun range that you can rent guns, and you have like like the hunting store where you can buy hunting rifles. But I wouldn't actually know. I would not know where to go. I've lived here for 30 years. I would not know where to go if I wanted to go buy a handgun. I have no idea. None. I've been to many stores all throughout the cities. I've never seen a place that sold a gun. So I wouldn't know how to get a legal gun in this country. Even a home defense weapon, get the permit, get the whole thing. I wouldn't know how to do it. I wouldn't know. Like, the fact that you can walk into a Walmart and buy guns is absolutely ridiculous in America. That's ridiculous. So we're agreeing 100%. Absolutely. But yeah, see, I don't watch enough of the news, so I don't know I don't know how people defend not having gun control laws. Well, it's my right, the commandment or whatever it is, the Constitution. Yeah, rip that fucking thing up. The right to bear arms. Yeah, if you're a militia. Jesus, it was a militia because there was no army. God damn it, hate that shit. But yeah. I'd say saying everyone has a breaking point should be different from saying everyone can have a single bad day. I didn't say, everybody, the quote is everybody can have a real bad day and end up just like me. That's what the quote is. He's saying that everybody has a breaking point. You just need to push far enough is what's implied. But yeah. Yeah, so we are agreeing, Vib. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Because they defend the mass shooters by saying he's a good man, he just had a single bad day, we don't need gun laws. So I said it sounds similar. People actually use that. Oh, he's a good man, he got fired from work, so he decided to kill 11 children. Like, the fuck? People actually try to defend. See, this is why I don't watch the news. It only would depress me and make me mad. I literally don't watch the news. I don't even watch the fluff news here in Canada, like the local news. Like, oh, we're starting a new charity here. And in these trying times, in these unprecedented times, every commercial since 2020 has started with, in these unprecedented times, buying a car, because COVID totally affects you buying a car. No, I don't. I literally use my TV to watch sports and Netflix. So I don't watch the news, even my own local news, so I wouldn't know about these people trying to defend that shit. It would only make me mad. But I believe you that people actually attempt to do that, Vib. I believe that because when I was watching the Trump-Biden shit, I heard some of the Trump supporters. I heard what they were saying. And I was just sitting in there like, how are you not in jail for being psychotic? Like, I'm just blown away by some of the people that are allowed to say shit on the news. So I believe that people said that, but this is why I can't watch it. I'd be like, how are you not locked up for being insane? So I get it. I get it completely. But yeah, that does sound similar. I just can't believe somebody tries to defend a mass shooter with that line. That's insane. MC Dude said, to get back on track, I want to highlight this scene with that pigeon. That recognized him and his refusal to commit to attacking that woman. I feel like these are hints at some inner conflict in Zero. There is inner conflict in Zero. He doesn't want to hurt anybody, as I said, because he loves humanity. Just like Heracles, just like Buddha, just like Brunhild. Loves humanity, wants to help them, but was treated so terribly by them, he can't help but... And he took on all their misfortune. He's filled with evil. And he's still trying to fight against it now. And remember, the misfortune he took in is humanity's. Humanity caused his transformation into evil. I don't believe that he could have transformed into the evil Zerafuku and with all the 7 deadly sins things around him. I don't believe that would have been possible, this evil, the Skull Greymon transformation, without all the toxicity, without all the poison of all the humanity's misfortune inside his body. That's what poisoned him, in my opinion. So, literally, they poisoned him. They are literally the direct cause. Quite literally. Not just figuratively and metaphorically from how they treated him and blah, 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 and all the different ways you can take that, but it literally. But absolutely, the inner conflict inside of Zero would be, yeah. Dragon Trade said, Biden sucks, sorry, just had to say it. Even my wife's family doesn't like Biden, but they're Latino, so if that shouldn't answer you who they voted for between Biden and Trump, it doesn't matter how bad Biden is. It does not. We literally could have had a 13-year-old girl run for president, and it would have been a better alternative, okay? That throws tantrums every second week. Because Trump threw one every 3 days. But yeah, trust me. No, I don't get into politics, man. All I know is that up here in Canada, we were never more scared that Korea and China and everybody was going to attack us because we're an ally of Canada. We were never more scared than in the last 4 years. I'm just saying. But yeah. Dragon's Rage said, so Biden sucks. Okay, I don't know if he sucks or not. I have no idea. Dragon's Rage said, also the stream got dark really fast. Yes, it did. It had to. We had to explain. It always gets dark, man. It always gets dark for the Shuumatsu stream. Bib said, MC trying to save that chat. Save that chat, MC. MC said, I don't think he truly hates humanity so much as he's just lashing out at people for what he put himself, in my opinion, through. That is a very cynical way to look at it. Somebody tries to help you. Like, somebody sees you fall down on the side of the road. You're blaming the Samaritan, man, by saying that. You're literally blaming the Good Samaritan. He didn't have to help them. He could have walked by and said, yeah, I'm a god. I could help them. I could help that kid. I could save that old lady. I could feed that person. No, I'm going to walk on. You wanted him to be selfish and greedy. You're blaming him because he wasn't selfish and greedy. I'm not following I'm not following you at all today, man. I'm not following that line of reasoning at all. Of course he doesn't hate humanity. He tried to help them. He saved all of humanity from their suffering. He took their misfortune. They just didn't know what to do with themselves after it. Sure, that was the wrong way to go about it, as we understand, but it should have worked in theory. It just didn't. And how was he supposed to know it wasn't going to work until he tried? How was he supposed to know that wasn't going to save them? You know? Yeah. Vib said Second Amendment, which was made when it took it took a minute to fire 6 bullets. So yeah. Yeah. Vib said, well, you can't even call Fox News as news. I don't know. People are like, you can't call CNN's trash. Fox is trash. Fucking NBC's trash. Global's trash. They're all trash. Well, whatever. I just don't care. See, this is why I don't watch the news. Get on these tangents about politics. I don't really understand it. All I know, the only things that I know about politics is that the only things that I know is that Trump was bad. Everybody else was tolerable. Like, as long as I've been alive. For Canada and presidency and stuff, everybody else was fine. I've never had a problem. Nobody, like, World War III wasn't hanging over our heads until Trump got in, okay? So, but let's see. But yeah, it was the Second Amendment. Yeah. The Second Amendment was simply made, and I've studied this part. I made sure I knew this part. That was due to form a militia to be able to defend their homes at the time, because there was no police force created at the time. There was no central police force. There was no army. There was no military. There was no nothing. So they were too few. So they needed, in this big country, the U.S., a very big place, they needed an ability. They needed the ability to form a militia to defend themselves when necessary. It was all about a militia. It never had anything to do with, well, we don't need a militia anymore. Yeah, you can just own a gun. It was like, no, when there's a time and a need for it. You know, that was the whole point. From what I've studied anyways. MC Dude said, also on page 45, let's see, page 45. Let's just go back really quick. Page 45. Okay, so he yells, wait. We see everybody, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's see what are you going to say about it? On page 45, when Zero says wait, I don't think it's unintentional imagery that Zero is at the center of the divide between those seeking enlightenment and the people he helped. I mean, I see that, but you also see people to the right who are rich too. You know, there's people on the left, then there's the parade, then there's people on the right who are rich. So, I mean, it is a nice imagery, but I don't know. I'm not 100%. But yeah, it does look nice, and you could be right about that. Is at the center of the divide. Like, that's the intention behind the shot. Let's see what else. Caden says, I believe Zero still loves humanity in the deepest part of his soul. I mean, that's why he cut himself into 7 lucky gods. He couldn't bring himself to actually put humanity through that. Because he still loves humanity down to his core. I agree 100%. Because if he didn't, he would have killed the mother and the baby. And he couldn't bring himself to do it. He couldn't even kill one simple human. So he had to, yeah. Vib said, not going to divert this chat anymore, but got to get this in. Bernie all the way. I love Bernie Sanders, man. I don't even know much about his politics, but I love Bernie Sanders. I know a lot of smart people, a lot of people that I respect their opinion, people who I know are not on the Trump wagon. I know that a lot of them were Bernie Sanders. A lot of people were saying, nah, Biden's done this and that and the other thing. And I don't know, maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. But, you know, because I'm not into politics. But I did always I heard Bernie on a few things, and I always like Bernie Sanders. So yeah, Vib's got a good choice there, Bernie Sanders. Vib says no to Trump, yay to Bernie. I like that. Caden says, I think he's taking out all his frustration on Buddha because Buddha was just at the right place at the wrong time. I mean, yeah, once again, Vib pointed it out as a joke, but he's just salty at Buddha. It is curious to know what would have happened had Buddha not walked by and he was still suffering and stuff. But yeah, he's showing the focus. But remember, at first, he wanted to take out all humanity. Then when he transformed, that was the intention behind the transformation. He tried to do it, he couldn't even bring himself to kill one person. Then that's when he tore out his soul, and then he focused. He's like, because deep down, as you said, deep down in his soul, he still loves humanity. He can't bring himself to actually hurt them and hate them. So he's got to focus all his anger now on the one who stole his job. And as it said, God was jealous of a man. So, yeah, an ugly thing, jealousy. But MC Dude said, I think that we're differing is that I don't think he should have expected anything in return for his generosity. It's not about getting anything in return for his generosity. It's the fact that he suffered, he did all the work, he did all the labor to help them with no thought of his own well-being. Then all he wanted, he didn't care about starting a religion. He didn't care about having followers. He didn't care about people waiting on him hand and foot, treating him like a god. He just wanted humanity to be happy. So he took it upon himself in a way that, honestly, once again, how would you know it wouldn't work? It should work in theory. Take away their misfortune, why aren't they happy? 2 + 2 = 4 with that one, right? And then he goes there to find them unhappy, arrogant and stuff, and they treat him like he didn't help them. Once again, it's like helping out a woman from a burning building and getting slapped in the face for doing it. You gonna go help the next time there's somebody in a burning building? I'm not. You know? You get somebody out of a car accident, you help them out of the car before the car blows up, and then they sue you because they broke their hand when you ripped them out of the car. That's why in Canada we have the Good Samaritan Act, where you cannot be sued for that anymore, because that did used to happen in the past. I don't know about the US. We have the Good Samaritan Act because it's not your intention to hurt them. You're thinking, I must help this person. If you're being a Good Samaritan, you can't be shit on. But back in ancient China, by the looks of it, back in the ancient times, or Japan or whatever, the Good Samaritan Act clearly didn't exist, because that's basically what happened. He helped all these people, and then they sued him. So it wasn't about generosity. It's the fact that he suffered, worked tirelessly. Not only did not work, but they were ungrateful. On top of all his suffering for years, amounting to nothing. So now he's less than where he started. Then they didn't even acknowledge that he tried. That's the part that gets me. That's why I see it that way. Maybe you're not seeing that part of it. Like, I understand if it was even keeled, like, what should he expect? It wasn't the right way to go about it. But the fact that they were also they didn't even acknowledge all his work, on top of it not working. That's too many that's too many jabs that's too many kidney punches in one round. I'm just saying. I don't think he should have expected anything in return, but he suffered for nothing at the end of the day. Actually, he suffered and gained. He went into the negative. If he was even keeled right here, right? And he tried to do something positive. He actually went down, back to even keel, then went to the negative. So he's even worse off than when he started before even trying. That's basically saying don't be, like, he was basically being the ultimate Samaritan. And it was like, well, don't do that. It's like, that's a horrible outlook to me. I think he was totally justified in what he tried to do. Dragon should say politics, let's just agree that nobody agrees. Well, there is always that. It's unfortunate. MC Dude said, I don't think he even should have expected some consolation for his suffering in the form of people being happy. It just seems misguided to me. Well, then Jesus Christ was a horrible idea then. Like, seriously. Jesus, then, because it's copy and paste of Jesus Christ, except without the following, without the religion, without the churches. It's a failed Jesus Christ. And that's basically saying Jesus shouldn't have bothered trying. I don't know. Like, I'm not a religious person, but I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people today that are pretty happy that Jesus did what he did. If you believe the Bible and all that stuff, I'm pretty sure there's quite a few people happy he did what he did. It's not about expectation. I think you're getting, I sort of get where you're coming from, but as I said, at the end of the day, you're basically blaming him because you're saying that it's his own damn fault because he tried to be a great Samaritan. He tried to be Buddha. He tried to be Jesus Christ. And not only did he suffer for it, he got slapped and spit in the face. As I said, I used the doctor analogy already. I usually use the Jesus Christ. Imagine Jesus suffering his whole life, getting nailed to the cross and everything, and then everybody abandons him, and no religion started. I don't think once again, Flood 2.0 would probably be happening if that had happened, right? Noah's Ark wouldn't be saving the animals this time. So, I don't know. I just see it differently. I see it like he tried to do the same thing as Buddha. The people followed Buddha, or they appreciated him, or whatever. They acknowledged what he did, and, you can't tell me that Buddha would have turned out the same way had nobody listened to him, and then they spat in his face when he offered them beans. I don't know, man. I'm just seeing it a little different, I guess. MC Dude said, I guess that's the center of his conflict. I mean, it is, but as I said, I don't know. You and I are seeing it differently. Miss Content said, Bernie, bro, Vib. Just when I thought I couldn't like you anymore, then I already do. There you go. Bernie. We all like Bernie. That's one thing we can agree on in this chat. We all like Bernie. We all like the Mitten Master himself. Let's see. MC Dude says, I like where they're taking his character. Yeah, I do too. I definitely do. At the end of the day, we disagree on certain elements of his character, but I think that we both like his character, so that's a good thing. Viv said, gotta say, where are Zero's parents? Yeah, you gotta wonder that shit. Like, where do they all come from? Low Punny Bunnery. Now, that's an interesting name. Reaction, new trailer, Record of Ragnarok. Hello from Guatemala. Guatemala? That's where my mother-in-law's family's from. That's where my mother-in-law and my family's in-laws' family's from. Guatemala. They're from Guatemala. And the other half is from El Salvador. So, yay. Greetings from Guatemala. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. I think you're the first person from Guatemala in the chat. Maybe. That's cool. I don't exactly ask where everyone lives, but that wouldn't be creepy. Yeah, where do you live? MC Dude, Caden, Vib, Misk, give me your address and postal codes. Or zip codes. Or whatever other codes they use in other countries. Let's see. Reaction to the new trailer. There's a new trailer to Record of Ragnarok. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I've been extremely busy. And as I said, I was actually almost like, I was sort of battling a little depression here this afternoon. Because I take shit on and I shouldn't. I should just wash it off like that, but I stress about the future and what's happening tomorrow, the next week, the next day, blah blah blah. And there's always bullshit at work when you're trying to like middle manage a company, trying to keep everybody afloat and COVID pay and stuff. So it's just bothersome. So yeah, so I haven't really been checking Reddit and updates and stuff. But if there is a new trailer, I suppose I could react to it by the end of the week. I'll have to check it out. So stay tuned for that. Viv said, missed a chance to say getting spit on by the woman. Getting spit on by the woman. Yeah. Caden said, Zero just wanted at least one person to acknowledge the hard work he did in trying to help humanity be happy. That's basically, yeah, he... At the end there, when he realized that he had suffered for nothing and that nobody he had helped all of humanity from what we understand. He literally helped all of them. And every single one of them went around, helped all of humanity, and then suffered harshly. So remember, he was here, trying to do a good thing, and takes on his own suffering. So he's down here. But it'll all be for the good if they can be happy. Not happy. So that makes it even worse. So he suffered for nothing. All it would have taken is somebody to acknowledge it, and that probably would have changed everything. You know, because remember, even when he saw all that stuff and he was on the ground and stuff, he looked and he saw the kid and he goes, "Oh, you're doing all right. You've gotten so big." He was still looking for that. He was still looking for somebody to be happy, looking for something, and he couldn't find it anywhere. Felt so bad, man. Let's see. So I agree with that, yeah. MC Dude said, yeah, I'm not saying Zero didn't get screwed. Well, I mean, we definitely all agree that he got screwed. We're just acknowledging who's at fault for it. MC said, I get where he's coming from, but I do disagree with Zero's resulting outlook. That's what makes him a good villain. As I said, I see where he came from, and at the end of the day, he's not a villain. Well, he is, I guess, but he went evil, but still couldn't bring himself to do anything evil. That's the beauty of it. He has every right to go evil. And he went evil, technically, but he still hasn't done anything. All he's still on his track record is 0 murders and nothing but help. It's all he's done is help people. Viv said, hi from Mars. Viv's from Mars, confirmed. It's already been terraformed. He's one of the 14 people on that thing that went up there, or supposedly went up there last year. Dragon just said, Griever, we all like Bernie. That's one thing we can agree on. Me. Oh, for God's sakes, Dragon's Rage. Ah. Oh, well. Oh, well. Whatever. I try. You know, I try. Let me think of somebody else. Can we all agree that we like Buddha? God's sakes, guys. It shouldn't be difficult. We're all good people. I like to believe that everybody in my chat is a good person. We might disagree on some things, some major things, some minor things, but I like to think that nobody wants Nazi Germany back. Can we agree on that? The Nazis were bad. Let's go something simple. Nazis, bad. Racism, bad. There. Let's start with those. Nazism and racism, bad things. Let's go simplistic. Food, good. Sleep, good. Let's go with a few simplistic things first, and then we'll move on. Low Putty says, you're American or Britain? Are those the only options? I mean, I am technically British. I'm half British, so yeah, you can call me British. I don't mind that, lads. Call me British. You say what? You say I'm American? Oh, for God's sakes. I can't do my accent quite well just yet. Let me get into it a little bit. I'm doing too much of the lulls on the end of the words. Getting annoying, isn't it? See, I really don't like when I'm trying to do one on the spot, because then it just comes out pretentious. I just don't like it. No, I don't. Yeah, I can't pull one off today. For fuck's sakes. I'm usually not that bad at pulling out my British roots. I'm usually not this bad at trying to pull them out usually on the fly. But when it comes sudden like that, and then I get a little bit of stage fright, and then all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I'm trying to do the accent, and it's not really coming out the way I want, and it's sounding like a little too mixture of a little like I go a little too rough with it, and then it becomes a little more Scottish, then it becomes like or Cockney, and then we're just into that whole thing, and it's just awful. It's absolutely awful. So I have to make a choice. I'll say I'm British. That's about it. Tea, love. Yeah. I don't know if can I quit that? Can I quit? I don't know. I don't even know what my voice is sounding like anymore, because I don't hear it as well. So maybe you guys hear it. I don't know. Caden says, got to remember that Zero was basically a kid when he came down to Earth, and he probably wasn't thinking this all the way through. That's true too. Like, you got to remember that Zero was a kid, and like Vid pointed out a very good question. Like, where was his, like, do the gods have parents? Like, we know that, like, some of them do. Like, we have Kronos for Zeus and stuff, and we actually did see that. So some of them would. But who is there actually, yeah, like, do they just get created out of the cosmos out of necessity? Are gods born a different way? Like, is it not like there's a parent to a parent to a parent to a parent? Or is it something else? Like, I don't know. Does Zero have parents? Maybe Zero has, but maybe Zero doesn't. Maybe Zero was made through cosmic energy, or made however the gods are made. I have no fucking clue. I have not a goddamn idea. Let's see. MC said Griever is Canadian. There's another A there, but yes. Griever, Canadian, eh? There we go. I can do. There's one I can do. I can definitely do my Canadian, eh? We're Canadian. We're gonna go have some beef potatoes. We're gonna eat some. I'm gonna have raccoon hat. You get. It's put on a little too much though, because Canadians we don't exactly sound like Hicks. I'm putting a little too much southern accent in that, right? Yeah, to add southernness to it. Yeah, no. But, like, we say A. We do say A. It's just not as much as you guys seem to think. It's like slight accents. You'll hear a different one from Toronto versus British Columbia and a lot of the other ones. So. Now my voice is jumping all over the map. Now certain words are coming out in different accents. Fuck's sakes. Oh, God damn it. I'm messing up my own voice. I'm going to have to stop the stream soon. I'm fucking... And it's 11:30. Oh my god, I got to go to bed. Viv said, Maple Syrup Land. Absolutely, this is Maple Syrup Land. Dragsridge said, or is he? Well, I'm a British Canadian, actually. I am a British Canadian. I was born in Canada, but my father was born in England. So that makes me a British Canadian. I don't technically have dual citizenship, but I can get it anytime I want. As a first generation bloodline, you just apply for it. There's no history of them ever being rejected, so I can get dual citizenship whenever I so choose. It costs money, and what was the point? I've never even been to England. I'd love to go. I'd love to go see the United Kingdom, but my parents have been, but I've never been. So I've never actually been to Europe. So there'd be no reason for me to get an EU passport or my British citizenship until it's necessary. Now my children won't be able to. My children won't be able to get that like freebie because they'll only be quartered, so it won't matter. Viv said UNMC should just jump into a VC now. Viv said if you want to find an American to like. Yeah, I would, but it's as I said, it's like 11:30. The stream has gone on for 2. I mean, I know we've been going on tangents with politics and everything else, but yeah, I did start the stream late, and I do have to go to bed. Like, I do have work in the morning and stuff. I mean, Easter weekend's coming up, guys, so I might have some time to do a few more videos for you guys. We'll see. I would jump into a VC. That would be cool. But MC Dude's also very busy with school, I believe, so not a whole lot of time on his end either. Vib said, if you want to find an American to say, just say Lincoln. Believe it or not, there are people who don't like Lincoln. I've literally met people who don't like Lincoln. So, I don't know what to say about that one. MC Dude said, Canada is on the North American continent, so you're an American. I'm a North American. So, yes, technically. But the problem is that the United States decided to call themselves the United States of America. So if you say you're an American, they don't count it. And I don't like being referred to as anything close resembling that. No offense to any Americans in the chat. I like the fact that I'm not an American. Very much so. Because when you go down south, they call you rich American when they're trying to... they call you rich American all the time. And once you say you're Canadian, they treat you so much better. I've been down south 3 times. 3 different spots. I've been to Mexico, been in Dominican Republic, and I was in Mexico a 2nd time. And every single time on the resorts and at the restaurants and all this stuff, when they find out, they assume your white family, they assume you're Americans on whatever. But the moment you say you're Canadians, that service rises. They treat Canadians like gold down there. I don't know, is it because we automatically tip? We're on vacation, so we tip better even. Like, you tip here, you tip almost no matter what here. You'd have to have bad service not to tip in Canada. I mean, we tip at the drive-thru. You tip at a coffee drive-thru. Not McDonald's, because that's a little different, but like your coffee places, you always tip for your coffees. And so you always tip here. It's always 15%. It's tax. You always tip the tax as a general rule. And rich people tend to tip more. And when you're down south, you tip even higher because you've saved up for this. You've taken out a bunch of cash. You've taken out your pesos and your different, and your American money and stuff like that. So you're tipping them all the time. And do Americans not tip? Like, why? I don't know why they treat Canadians better, but the moment you tell them they're Canadian, they get a big smile on their face and they treat you like gold. I've never had a bad experience down south the moment they found out you're Canadian. So, but I sort of see why, because I did see a couple of American couples down there that were very ignorant, very arrogant, very, oh, ho, ho, I'm on vacation, I have money. We saw quite a bit of that. Not saying that they don't exist up here in Canada. Just go to fucking Toronto. Plenty of bad Canadians in Toronto. But, yeah, overall, yeah. So let's see. MC Dude said, Low Punny said Captain America or Thor. Thor, absolutely. Love Thor. But I don't have a problem with Captain America. Viv said, if you want to sound Canadian, just say about. About and about and about, eh? Are you about or are you about? You gonna say about? Yeah, my wife doesn't like the way I say car. She's like car. Car. And I don't put an R in Chicago. I don't know where the fuck, whose accent that is. But there's a lot of people that say Chicago. I'm like, where the fuck did you get that Chicago is a cargo plane? Like, there's no R. Where are you getting Chicago? It's not Chicago. I don't get it. I don't know where that one comes from, but that's not a Canadian thing. That's something else. I have no fucking idea what that is. But yeah, the way I say car. Oh, and we pronounce certain words correctly up here. Though a lot of Canadians still pronounce it the American way. Like they'll say, instead of tomato, they'll say tomato up here. Though we all know it's actually tomato. Same with scallop and scallop. You know, it's clearly scallop. What other words are there? Believing that the letter U exists in words. That's another thing. There's quite a few differences, but you'll see up here, like not all Canadians are like that. As a British Canadian, I was raised Canadian, but I was also raised British. So I have the Queen's English more so than the next Canadian. Like even the guys I work with, some of them, they'll spell their words with U's, but they'll say tomato, for example. They won't say tomato, but they will say scallop. So it depends. It's Canadian to Canadian. You can find some people that'll spell it different. You'll find some that spell like an American. You'll find some that spell like a British person. You'll find some that it's person to person up here. So, but yeah, about. Low Punny says, I'm sorry, mean United States. Yeah, no, I am not from the United States. My wife is. My wife was born in LA. Dragon's Rage said, wait, you're half British. Agent 007, is that you? Yep. Yeah, I'm half British. I'm the Canadian. I'm like when they made, you know how back in the day they made, like they had Captain America and stuff. They have Captain Britain and Captain Canada and all that stuff in Marvel. Yeah, see, I'm what would you call me? I'm 008. That's what I am. I'm 008. I'm the international Canadian and British double agent for MI6. I'm not as suave as 07, but I can get some bitches. I can get bitches, and I can drink. I can drink pretty good. So, and I look pretty good in the suit. Yeah, Viv said, who the fuck says Chicago? You should hear. I've heard it in movies. I've heard it on TV. I've heard a lot of Americans say it too. When I was in New York, New Yorkers, they're terrible for it. I heard New Yorkers pronounce Chicago as Chicago all the time. And there's my brother's girlfriend's father actually says Chicago. No idea why. No idea how he picked that up. Low Punny says Hawkeye or Black Widow. Ooh, I like them both. That's a hard pick. It changes. Depends on the movie, depends on the scene. I really like both of them. I think Scarlett Johansson was a great choice, and I really like Black Widow. I like Hawkeye as a character more in the comic books, but I don't have a whole lot of comic books featuring Black Widow, so that's just by knowledge, you know. That's just by having them. So, but I thought Jeremy Renner and Scarlett Johansson did great jobs in all the movies they were in. Great storylines, blah blah blah. Good characters. Okay, so this stream is gonna go now like an hour, or another. It's gonna be 3 hours. Holy shit! Now I gotta get to bed. I was gonna do the dishes. Fuck's sakes! I don't have time to do the dishes now. If I gotta get to bed at a decent hour, it sucks when we have when we have a good chat going on and stuff. It was a great chapter. It was a fun stream. We're having a fun chat. You know. And I'm sober. I'm stone sober this stream. So that's a new one. I really need to get some more water, though. I didn't even have to take a break once this stream. That's why the stream... This is how we've gotten through all this, all my tangents, all the chat, 71 pages of a chapter. and it's only 2 hours and 48 minutes into the stream. That's the only reason, because there's no getting beer, there's no piss breaks, there's no nothing when I'm not drinking. So, Dragon's Rage says later. Dragon's Rage. Low Punny said Chris Evans or Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth all day. I actually do Chris Hemsworth, one of his workouts apparently. Caden said, why did they not? I mean, clearly not the same weights. I mean, look at my, not exactly his size, right? Caden said, why did they not have King Arthur on the humanity list? I asked the same fucking thing. Where's Alexander the Great and where's King Arthur? King Arthur, you know why? Because Alexander and King Arthur, very heavy in the Fate series, and also Arthur and Alexander are usually big names used in other mangas and other fiction. This one was trying to use some of the lesser known ones. Other than the Assassin's Creeds, I've never really seen King Leonidas even used. Like having Tesla and Rasputin and stuff. Like popular people in history, but like, I've seen Obama, I've seen Einstein, I've seen these people in mangas before, but I've never seen like Lu Bu, never heard of him before. I have seen Kojiro before, but yeah, just in general, right? Like a lot of that stuff. So that's probably why, but I wish they did too. Low Punny says Falcon or Black Panther. Black Panther. Iron Man or Hulk. Ooh, that's another good one. Probably Iron Man. But I really like Hulk. I like most of them. I'm not a huge... Falcon's okay. I like Black Panther more. Iron Man or Hulk is a tough one, but I think I'd have to go with Iron Man. Go with the OG there. Thor is probably my favorite of the Avengers, if you just want to know. I like Thor the best. I thought a lot of people didn't like his thing in Endgame. I was like, it's called PTSD. I fully understand it. It makes a total... that was a great character arc for him. I don't know what people had a problem with. Doctor Strange or Scarlet Witch. Doctor Strange all day. Love Doctor Strange. I love Doctor Strange before the movies. So I was never a huge fan of Scarlet Witch in the comics. Low Punny said, Adam or Poseidon? Adam easy. Bib said, didn't know this was a Marvel stream. Apparently it's a Marvel stream. But we are ending it, guys. I do really need to go. It's half an hour till midnight. I do have to get up at 6. And I still need to, eat something really quick, shut down, brush teeth, yada, yada, yada. It's going to take me some time to, I'm one of those people that don't know about you guys, but, I can't just jump into bed and go, I need to be on my phone. I need to make myself tired. I need to wind down, shut my brain off. As you guys can tell from my tangents and how fast I speak, my mind is going if the average mind goes 5 miles a minute, mine goes about, I don't want to be arrogant sounding to say I'm super smart or anything, but I would say if the average mind goes 5 miles a minute, mine goes at least 7 to 8. Let's try to be humble. Don't want to sound too arrogant, but let's be humble. My mind runs a little bit faster than the average person. Because I've always had a very hard time falling asleep. Mom says I inherited that from my father, because my father is also like that. Crazy good mind, reads extremely fast, that kind of shit. I remember one time I literally had to prove that I was reading fast enough. I remember we had 2 months in 3rd grade to read a book, and I read the book in a week, or 2 days or something stupid. I read The Hobbit. I just sat down and I read 100 pages in one day, and I was like, I know how to read. It's not hard. And the teacher was just like, well, you need to fill out blocks for the next month. And I'm like, but I finished the book. What do you want me to do? So I remember that. Yeah, that was fun. But anyways, yeah. I guess it turned into a Marvel stream. Low Punny said Paul Rudd or KJ Appa. I don't know who KJ Appa is. Should I? I don't know all the actor names, so I'm sorry about that. But Paul Rudd is really cool. I love Paul Rudd. And I also really like the Guardian of the Galaxy movies. I think they're really well handled. So before this keeps going off track, guys, like, comment, subscribe to the stream. Thank you guys, everybody, for showing up. This was a really fun stream. Really great chapter. I'll rate the chapter easy 10 out of 10. This was a fire fucking chapter. We did really good for the stream. Thank you to everybody who jumped in. Thank you for the new folks that jumped in. Thank you for all the regulars that jumped in and stuff. I thought we had some good discussions, some good stream stuff. And I'm sorry once again, sometimes like I get caught up and 20 minutes later and you guys will say something and I'll sometimes go, yeah, totally, that. Don't know what I fucking said 25 minutes ago before I got to the chat, but you know, but I didn't think that happened too much this stream, so that's good. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Now that I know there's another trailer out, I'll try to get that trailer out by the weekend at the very least. I'll try my best to get that trailer reaction out for the new trailer for Record of Ragnarok. That'll be really cool. Didn't know there was one, but thank you for informing me. I believe it was Lopunny who said so. So thank you, Lopunny. So yeah, I guess we'll end the stream. Oh, Caden came in really quick. If you can choose one superhero to fight for humanity, who would it be? A superhero from Marvel or DC is what you mean? Really quick off the top. Oh, see, I can't choose Thor. That's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. Wolverine. Wolverine. There. Easy pick. I'd have to think about it, but we're ending the stream right now. Like, I love a lot of superheroes. But I could see Hugh Jackman giving a god a run for his money. So, yeah. Yeah, let's go with that one. But anyways, yeah, thanks, guys. We'll see you back here next time. Drink responsibly as always. Looking forward to chapter 46 when that comes out. We'll be doing another live stream for that because these chapters are all worthy of a stream. They're just straight fucking fire. So, yep. Don't think I have anything else to say. Oh, thank you very much for the 500 subscribers, guys. We reached that goal with ease. The 500 subscriber announcement video will be out sometime this week. It's already recorded. I just haven't had a chance to edit it yet or anything. There's not much to do to it, but I've been very busy, as I already said. So that'll be out soon. You guys will be able to vote on what you want for a 500 milestone video for me to do for a content video. So thanks so much for getting me to 500 and beyond. It's really, really cool. Let's get to that 600 easy peasy, even faster. So yeah. All right. That's a long enough outro. See you guys next time. Peace out.